No problem.
Reese, that's normally where a tie is.
You can use that chair right there. Okay, so
Excuse me just a second.
what we have to talk about. Matt needs more time to sleep before he works in the morning.
Yeah.
And you don't get off work until 8:30.
Correct.
Is there any way that can be rectified at all?
Well, I don't get off until 8. I don't get home until like 8:20-ish. I can see about getting an earlier schedule.
Okay. I mean, is there any reason you can't just come straight from work to here and then go home?
I would need to grab my bag with my shit in it.
Oh. Well, I mean, you can, like, just leave that here.
Yeah,
And-
true.
Yeah, like leave the game important shit either here or in his car.
That would mean we could save a little bit of time and keep our sessions almost the same length. But we need to, going forward in the games, probably an hour earlier than we do.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight, we're going to end at 12:30, if that's okay with you, instead of 1 o'clock.
That is completely fine.
And then you can go home and sleep, and we'll run all of you guys home.
That gives me plenty of time to like just go home, pop a half a melatonin pill, and out. Because I have one sitting for me.
If that doesn't work, then we'll have to either find a way to adjust your schedule, if that is at all possible, or we will have to move this game to a different day, or we will have to accept that we are losing an hour of game time because he needs to work.
Yeah, they're gonna pull my prep hours if I don't speed up, and if I don't have enough sleep, I can't be up to par.
So,
That's understandable.
Distribute candles, everyone.
anyways, if someone can kill the lights in the kitchen,
Yeah.
matches should be over here.
I think
Yes.
Ty's doing something in the kitchen.
No, he's good.
I have visual aid by way of television here. I am probably going to turn it off in a minute here. This is just kind of a pre-session thing. And then if you guys need visual aid for whatever certain monsters look like, I will use this.
That works really good.
It is now.
Now,
That's goofy. So how are you doing, Ty? You've been rather quiet.
I'm fine. He's just woken up.
Okay.
That's
alright.
rough, bud.
You just. I read the creative writing thing you did earlier for Pyra. That was cool.
That was
Response
cool.
to series.
Rad, yeah.
In response to series.
That was rad too.
Thank you.
I had not read either yet. I didn't really have time.
Yours is also
Like after we got back from our little Busch Gardens venture, I went home, ate something, and then left.
To go pick them up.
Yes.
That's fair, man.
Alright. Let me know when all the candles are lit, and we will get going.
Excellent.
Where is my dark D20?
Today especially, I want to whack.
Where did the boy go? Is he just going into the room?
I don't know. He's going somewhere. Also, everyone, Ty, I don't know if you heard. This is Reese. He will be stepping into our. He will be not stepping in. He will be observing our game today.
If that is okay with everybody.
Yeah, if that's okay with everyone.
Yeah.
Floating around, just kind of existing in proximity.
That's fair, man.
Voice
feel
of
that.
NPCs.
Voice of NPCs if you want.
Well, I mean, that would have to be up to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd have to tell me what they sound like.
I mean, you would decide what they sound like. I just have to tell you what they said.
Throw bits of paper at me.
Please. Oh, one more thing. Anything that isn't folders or dice, please take it home. I don't have any more space here, as you can see. I'm out of space, and I need to have this table presentable to eat dinner with my family now, because I have my family here instead of just me being a shitty gremlin who plays Dungeons and Dragons and eats at her desk instead of the table she has.
Yes, but you're our favorite gremlin.
So I hear. I don't need candles anymore because I have plenty of light back here. Is that turned off?
Yes.
Okay. Excellent.
So,
I give you matches to light your.
hang on. I need to make a roll.
Okay.
Forced outcomes for the day. Excellent. I can make someone take a 5.
Neat.
So what happened last week, my good friends?
Last week, we flew out with.
Are you okay?
The table is bolted to the microphones. Who banged?
It was over here. It was way over here.
What did you do?
I moved the lid slightly with my knee, and the thing yelled itself.
It grunted itself.
It grunted.
Ow.
I was just, yeah.
So, anyways, what happened last week?
Anyways,
Captain,
the gang in general rode out with Chuko Rapcore, a old friend of casters and a member of the Knights of the Morning Dew, a contingent of safe worshippers who specifically hunt down demons and devils, to hunt down some demons and devils that are fighting the captain, the hobgoblin friend that we met, well, most of the party met back a long time ago. So we get out there and we find the captain and a handful of his men getting just absolutely dunked on by a very large demon, a Valor to be specific, and a handful of devils of the same kind that we had encountered when we were going to fight the Wicker Witch. We managed to destroy most of a number of the devils, and we worked with Galahad to manipulate some of these strings of time in order to bring about such a coincidence of timelines as would banish the Balor and all of the devils with it. We are currently resting in the field, waiting for nightfall, likely going to take a rest. To the north lies the vault, which the demons and devils guard.
I am under the assumption that you guys have already rested, so you're welcome to take all the benefits of a night's worth of sleep.
Wicked.
The appropriate amount of healing, which is twice your level, if you recall. And
I can prep more spells for the first time in a long time.
yes, the first time I think in 3 sessions that you've got to prep new spells.
Yes.
So there is that. And that's where we open up. You guys have just finished your conversation with Lyndall Fireguard and the captain and all that.
Yes,
Hey,
that
can you-
is another thing that happened. We explained our situation to Lyndall, and not just like this situation of us fighting the Red Hand and all that. The situation fighting against Azathoth, and being friends with Garrett Reedus.
And as it should turned out, this Lyndall Pyregard is not just a relative of Castor Pyregard, my character, but a distant ancestor from the days of the Union and its war with the Drow.
Yes, most concerning indeed.
Very strange. Very strange company we find ourselves in now.
Now.
Isn't it always?
Yeah, kind of.
We've always found ourselves in odd company, whether it be a dwarf that has to hold up a horn to hear someone 5 miles away.
I wonder what this sounds like.
What do you got?
And forest. Buggy. I like bugs.
Let's
Do
see.
you?
Depends on the bug, but yes.
This might be better.
I'm not too big on the ones that go creepy crawly in the nighty.
Nope, I don't want Skyrim music. I didn't want music, I just wanted ambience.
Okay.
Music might be what I get. I guess we're just going with music, Chief.
It's nice music, it's peaceful.
It's appropriate music.
Where's Ty?
He went in there, I think.
Ty?
What?
No, he's
It's Tiny Ty.
He's Tiny Ty.
Searching for die.
Oh,
it's over here.
Also,
I thought I heard
did you get my
something.
charger?
I would like
Reese did.
do you need light?
Let me get my light.
Here, I can get you a light, dog. Here you go.
Hold on.
There it is. It's by my footsies. Footy! Nice slippies.
Also, there
Uh,
Nice slippies.
I need these. My feet hurt, and I'm about to be standing.
Oh, fun. Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, like I said, we open back up after you guys have concluded your conversations with the Lindell and the captain, and you guys are laying down to sleep, preparing for your rest, so on and so forth. I didn't need the whole charger, but thank you.
I mean, I know we don't really need 2 anymore, but Cass is going to take watch.
Yeah, nothing's gonna disturb you guys out here with this many people.
You'd be staying up with me anyway.
Yeah.
Drollish
you
the
don't have to
sleepless.
sleep.
Yeah,
I
you
don't,
don't have to
I don't
sleep.
have to sleep at all.
That's why you're a plant.
Are you informed as to why? Drolish is an orc and also a plant.
She ate a kudzu heart.
And was like, I plant now.
She consumed an enchanted kudzu heart and became as she is.
Roll with the punches, I guess.
It was one of the most confusing moments of the whole campaign for me, and it is on all of the episodes in YouTube. I have like a little vignette in the description of like a poem of whatever happened in the session or whatever. That episode is called To Kill a Kudzu, and the description just says, "What the fuck, troll?"
Yeah, that's right.
I'll put those there. Just
I'm
D6s
playing
as
stab me.
needed.
Listen, I have had to make so many fortitude saves to become what I am today. A plort.
A plort. A
A
plort.
plort.
I am a plort.
So do you guys just sleep? Nothing in particular going on for the rest of the evening?
Not for the evening.
Drolish is looking would be looking at the axe for several hours before putting it away.
So, you guys awake in the morning to the sight and sounds of the captain and his men begroaning their now aching, throbbing wounds, which have at least been bound and healed adequately enough to save their lives and satiate their incredible tolerance and lust for pain. The captain is reapplying his like gauntlets that are part of the mechanized like arcanotech armor that he's wearing. But noticeably absent from the group is Miss Lyndall Pyregard.
Oh, would Drolish have seen her left?
Because she doesn't sleep.
I don't sleep.
Roll perception.
That rings so fucking much.
Big ring energy.
Big ring energy.
Well, that's not very good.
I don't see shit. That'll be a.
I mean,
That'll be a.
would
8
it have
total.
been like, I guess, second half of the watch or something? Because Cass
You-
also did.
You
not
are
sleep.
welcome to roll your perception as well.
Oh, this is gonna be much better, hopefully.
I would hope.
I mean, even just a 1 will still get me 15.
Yeah.
So 26.
25.
Even so,
Mhm.
you do not notice at what point in the night Lyndall disappears. It either happened before your watch, or she's that good.
Okay.
Keep that spot. Chair. Oh, okay.
In the middle of the night, Pyra, as you sleep and you dream, you have these vague echoes of things that you feel like are familiar to you, of halls and buildings you've walked before, of libraries that you've visited, of books that you've read, faces that just don't quite materialize. Like, the most important features there, noses, the depths of the eyes, where the ears are and how large they are, but the complexion, the color, the features, nothing's there, nothing's concrete. Things that have just disappeared, and it all fades into this like abyssal darkness that swirls into a dark whirlpool around you, and it all like it consumes you, and then it all dissipates as it like collapses into your core, and you're just sitting there in a dark, empty space alone with yourself and your fire. And then you all wake up.
Cass is up and at 'em.
Yeah.
Just
So.
getting her stuff ready, packing it all up, cleaning the skillet and stuff that she used to cook. All that stuff.
Hope you've all had a nice rest.
Ah, serviceable enough.
I'd imagine before the day is out, we're gonna have a little bit of fun up north.
Killed elk, dragons, couple of demons. Let's go get a couple more. Honestly, I'm mildly ashamed that the Baelor had to get away last night, but
I agree with you.
perhaps our good fortune.
Otherwise, we might have expired, and that would have been rather untimely considering the impending march of the Drow army.
Indeed.
Now let's go find another one, and take its head for my mantelpiece. I'm sure it will be most excellent.
As long as I can, as long as I can keep a horn.
Does anyone happen to have a wrench?
Maybe.
No.
Cass is the only one that would really tinker with stuff. So
She's still answering the question.
Orc, how strong are your teeth or your grip?
well, great.
Strong.
Can you tighten this last bolt on my bracer for me?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Just pushes in with the
roll,
finger.
roll just strength.
Yeah, I'm not raging, so it's not dummy.
Just like 1 second.
Hold on.
We're good.
Alright.
It would be just plus your strength bonus.
Yeah, 12. I rolled a 3.
That's still pretty good.
You do tighten it a little bit better, and he's like, well, your grip's not that good, but I mean, I don't mean that your grip personally is bad. I mean that there's not a lot of purchase on the bolt, but that'll do.
It's a tiny little thing, and my fingers would be.
That I understand. The captain is only 6'8". That's like normal for hobgoblins. They're big dudes.
Yeah.
Like bugbears are like 7.5 feet tall.
Drolish is still a foot, like a whole foot.
Yeah. So her fingers are like 2 of his
sausages.
Right. It's like she's got big
like
old
a fat bratwurst.
Oh yeah. They call her Drolish brat fingers. But
Too many locations.
he like crushes his hands together, and you guys hear the sounds of the like pneumatic machinery go, and he's just continuing to acclimate to wearing this weird suit of armor, which you guys have never seen anything like at all.
Cass is sketching up the design so that she can see it.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be real cool.
Anyway, he gathers his lieutenant and the remainder of his men, and he suggests to you all, well, with our improved numbers, even lacking the additional fire guard, I'm sure that there's no challenge we couldn't reasonably overcome.
Wait. Where is she?
I wouldn't know. In fact, it's rather odd. We're not entirely sure where she came from in the first place. We were in dire straits as we had just opened the vault and demons came spewing forth. We were rapidly outnumbered, and she joined our ranks immediately to assist us in fighting the demons. She fought with us through the entire evening and through the entire duration of your travel here. As you saw, she was with us during the combat, and then it seems in the evening that she departed. I assume she had work to do.
Not about tracks with our experiences with her.
Any ally who is willing to stand with me on the battlefield, I am perfectly willing to give my trust.
It's just strange. We told her things of dreadful import. Galahad, did you ever notice anything strange about her?
It's hard to say. There are so many timelines now.
Did you ever look at your watch while you were around her?
No. But it didn't ping her before. So I doubt that would have changed.
I think it did.
It was faint.
It's entirely possible things have intensified. It's
World.
entirely possible she just disappeared. That's not uncommon with coronal disturbances of this type.
Especially in this part of the world.
The timeline just trying to rectify itself, but there are other possible explanations.
That's very disconcerting. By the way, I meant to ask about that. Did what we did, how exactly did that work?
Well, in the shortest possible terms, we adjusted potential variables in our extant timeline. You see, there are some timelines where there's a non-zero chance that just completely random things happen. That, for no reason, spontaneously, 500 million gold appears in the middle of nowhere. Those are timelines that exist. They're increasingly improbable, and very rarely are they the course that time takes. But if you're willing to edit the localized variables of a specific portion of time, you can make increasingly unlikely things happen. I do not recommend that we do it regularly. Making a habit of it creates damage to the timeline, and time will rectify itself, often much to our dismay. These sorts of chronal disturbances are dangerous. However, so are Baylor's.
I see. Well, we'll keep that in mind.
As long as
I don't intend to make a habit out of it. I want some new pelts for my wall as well.
I mean,
Bloody right.
Now, while it did help us with the Baylor, I personally consider it cheating.
Feels like cheating to me.
Absolutely.
Anything you don't kill would be considered cheating. With your own hands, anyway.
Listen,
Friends are just cheat codes.
I personally enjoy feeling.
Don't do that. That's connected to the microphone. Don't do that.
Sorry. Personally, I enjoy feeling the weight of someone's bones crack underneath my weapon.
That's weird. I just hunt for sport. That's weird. She's weird. You get me. She's weird.
I understand.
by the way,
It's a
speaking
prestige thing.
speaking
No, it's a violence thing,
Speaking-
and it's weird.
Habit I'm trying to break.
speaking of that, and Cora's hands just start to glow with the dull seafoam green. Hand me your axe.
What are you doing?
Removing the curse. I'm making it so that you can put that away. Are you sure? And she casts remove curse on it.
Then she.
You can put the axe away now,
Yeah, she puts the action just.
but that is the only property that has been adjusted about it.
Thank God.
You'll see.
It was identified, correct?
No.
No.
Did you identify?
Wait,
Okay, well, you wouldn't know the
Well,
property.
no,
then.
of course not.
Do you identify it?
I imagine, yes.
What's the lowest you can even roll in spellcraft?
What's the lowest, man?
Like 26?
It's not that ridiculous.
It's pretty
Yeah,
ridiculous.
It's pretty dumb.
It's only 24.
Make
The
a
lo-
spellcraft roll.
The lowest I can roll is 20.
Make a spellcraft roll. Sufficient. So you show her what the properties are, and you also now know them.
Okay. Actually, let me see
While
this.
you
And
guys
she-
make
and
that
she,
most
holds it
fortuitous
with mage
exchange of
hand.
information, I'm going to get a drink because I'm forced to. I'm sorry that you need to move in because we had to move the bookshelf. I'm sorry, Matt. You're such a small baby.
Big Thorst. Big Thorst. I should have brought my big gulpus with me.
Big gulp machine.
Oh, that was neat. Oh God.
Why did you spend so much money on those damn things?
No, I wasn't talking about the cup. I was talking about something that came out of my rectal cavity.
I wasn't paying attention when you said
What?
that.
Why are we talking about Matt's poop again?
I'm
not
sorry, I
poop.
was
I
distracted.
just-
Why are we talking about Matt's poop again?
Why are we doing this?
I'm pointing out the fact that was a meaty one.
Is
So,
your oh my god! Is
It's
your
okay.
bowel health okay?
Haley,
Yeah,
out of
I poop
character,
like
what do you think?
once to twice a day, just
Whoa!
like any other person. I just enjoy it more than the average
I'll
one.
You're
hurt it.
staying regular.
Regular.
I'm s-
I'll hurt it.
yeah, I'm staying
You
regular, I
you
promise.
okay there, Ty? You look like you're in pain.
It's the truth.
It's emotional
Isn't
distress.
everyone a meaty one, Matt?
That is true. We got meat. We all got meat.
What does that mean?
Matt,
Oh,
What does that mean?
It means
dude?
whatever you want it
I'm
to
not
mean.
equipped to handle you.
Matt's a little boy.
That's my brother.
He's a sweet
Brother!
boy.
Brother!
I'm not equipped to handle you.
So Cora, what does the axe do?
Wow, what fine craftsmanship!
I feel bad because he's sitting right next to me.
Actually,
It's alright, I stand next to him and his coffee bean farts, and I also live with him.
actually, let me see that. And she doesn't grab it. She like.
It's not cursed anymore. You hit it with remove curse, dog.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not.
You remember the thing you just did?
The thing you
That.
literally just
Well,
did.
no. Remove curse doesn't literally remove a curse from a cursed weapon. You need stronger magic than that. I'll
Oh.
remove
Well,
curse.
according to Amy, it did, so shut
Oh
up.
well then. Per your instruction, it's cursed.
Way to
and
fucking
if
go,
you
Riley.
grab it, then
Alright.
it's on you now.
Way to
Well,
fucking
no,
go.
I did, and I don't grab it because remove curse just removes like curse type magics from people and lets people put down cursed weapons.
Okay.
Oh well.
But I can eventually fix this. But anyways,
That's a ringy boy.
A jingly boy.
Cora holds it like. Actually, hang on. This worked last time with her mechanical hand and mage hand.
That is sufficient.
This is actually
Actually.
Hey, hey, hey.
Actually.
And there's the episode title.
Is it?
Probably.
But she holds it and like moves it back and forth and says like, "This is fascinating.
Oh, I received a message.
Fascinating.
It hits a lot harder than your normal axe, though. If I'm remembering right, the runes along the blade don't."
And then the eldritch tendrils grip into her arm again. They're not eldritch, but there's some kind of magic, and she can't put it down anymore.
Did you say hit hard?
She can't. Now, here's the thing. She can put the weapon away,
Yeah.
but she literally can't grip any other weapon.
You know, it takes a while to prepare spells. You could have been a little bit more careful. Don't you have weird arm vine things you could have grabbed it with?
That's still part of
That's
her
still
body.
part of me.
Not everyone's
Not all of
mechanical.
Yeah, not all of us are graced with
She could
the,
grip it with her feet.
Yeah.
That begs another question then. Can you wield a weapon with those vines?
I go.
Hard no.
No.
I don't
Shutting
think
that
that
shit
is-
down right now.
I don't think
I'm
that
afraid I cannot.
That is unfortunate.
The vines only go so far, and then she holds out her arm. The vine starts sprouting from her arm and wrap around the weapon at like maybe a little bit longer than your average ruler.
But
It allows me to
15-inch
grip
ruler?
and root myself,
it
but nothing else.
But if you would have been so kind to let me finish before you just took it back just because you heard, "Oh, thing hit hard."
You handed me the axe. It looked fine.
Way
Cast
to
laughs
get your
really
Jace
hard.
on, Cora.
I'm glad to be home.
I'm sorry. It's just there's this whole thing
I
where
am glad to be home.
This literally is Jace talking to Garuk. Well, seeing as how you've only just learned to walk upright, it may take a moment to understand.
I'm glad you're home too. Really. But
Does that make Caster Gideon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Casters.
Oh,
Was
yeah.
Caster ever not
are
Gideon?
you gonna teach me to
That
fight?
is a point.
Are you gonna teach me to fight with a sword, even like
Do you need-
since because my magic?
Do you need to see the axe again?
No, it's
I don't think it let
Can you do it again, magician?
Essentially.
I
Mom
could-
said it's my turn on the remove card.
She could tomorrow. You can do the same thing.
no. I could actually do it again right now, but
But I
think we
want to
have- I
teach
think-
you a lesson.
it does hit. It hits much harder, and whenever you're going to be swinging with that, whenever you land a successful hit, the weapon's thirsty. It will take some of your blood.
And that is true. The axe does have grooves along its blade.
Chlorophyll.
Depending on how this thing hits and how I handle it, it might be worth it.
3d6 to the face.
Yeah, it hits for 3d6.
Oh,
Actually, it hits for 5d6.
What?
It hits for 3d6 because of impact. It
Yep.
hits for an additional 2d6 because of vicious.
And that's
Oh.
and that's not counting everything else I do.
Oh God.
But vicious doesn't get multiplied on a critical.
No.
It's still 5d6.
On a critical, it would be 8.
That's still good. Like what?
Plus everything else I do.
Plus the other damage.
No, I'm sorry.
But
no.
it doesn't have the crit range of the...
Has a 19-20.
It doesn't have the 18, 19.
And
It's
then
explicitly
and then
a
I could
two-handed
get
axe.
improved critical again to.
For axes.
Why wouldn't you just keen it?
You could key
I
it.
could do that.
That doesn't require a feat of which you only get.
Cost gold.
You
Not have.
a philosopher's stone.
We have 25,000.
We don't have the things to make more of them.
I felt that.
No, but we have the.
I mean, we
no, you're fine.
could.
We have
Turn
a
on
tree.
tree.
Oh, it's
All right.
fucking trail mix.
In any case,
We haven't fed any people.
Let us march.
yes.
There are demon heads,
That is
and there will be space to be found upon my mantle.
This peanut belongs to you.
Cass is walking alongside the captain.
Yes. In any case.
It is good to see you are well, friend. I was concerned when I heard about the condition of your legs.
By the way,
Well,
give me your sword.
bones are material. They can be
He has
replaced.
my sword now.
That's
The captain
pretty
has-
metal.
Tink, tink.
What
It
is this metal?
How are those legs holding up, by the way?
Just a regular oil every day before I go to sleep, and whenever I wake up, and be fine.
Can someone hand me one of the black long swords?
My favorite traveling bard, Rob Zombie.
It's not any.
He's quite the skald, you see.
God, that's pretty metal.
There's a band of traveling bards known as Ailstorm I particularly enjoy.
Oh my god.
Have you ever heard of the traveling troubadour group Butthole Surfers?
Such enchanting tunes.
There's an electric wizard joke here somewhere, but I don't know if anyone's familiar
Have you ever heard of the traveling minstrel band? This is Betty White's tit fuck.
There's a joke there somewhere.
Anyway, she like taps on the side of the metal making thing, so
The
it
traveling
now
group Piggly
sounds-
Wiggly. You have to oil it?
Yes, there's hinges. It's like she moves her like thigh so it like swings. There's a hinge. It moves so I actually can walk.
She does the
It's not
robot to
static.
show you. Just
All I have to do is wind to this thing.
Well, that's clockwork. This is metal.
I mean, that
That is also metal.
that
but-
would also be metal.
That is also metal, yes, but
Yeah.
it is not as
Different functions.
different functions.
I mean, is it? I mean, it still articulates
Different methods of
Just-
movement.
Well, one
Make sure
metal-
you oil it so it doesn't rust, unless you're magic and you can
It-
just bypass
I mean,
that.
it looks like brass, which
Ah,
doesn't.
That
It's,
doesn't correct.
it's mithril.
Oh well, that definitely.
No,
Wait,
no,
aren't those also mithril?
No,
No.
those are steel.
Oh well, that's rough. You got a really strong everything else, huh?
By the way, I would very much recommend never going into water ever again.
I mean, do you have chromium in there? I mean, if it's stainless, you're probably fine.
I don't know. Did you put chromium in them?
Yes.
Well, now they're weaker though.
They are weaker, but
that was
she,
a trick question. I tricked you. I was just
They
seeing how
are-
much of a chump bitch she
they
was.
are weaker. But when did she ever kick anything?
I mean, she
She
doesn't.
stands
but
still and shoots. You'll be fine.
but she does run. I mean, like.
Are they lighter?
Well,
Anyways,
Regardless.
forward. I want demons dead.
I can agree to that statement.
That was a trick question. I told you.
stay close, Galahad. If
No.
you see anything else weird, let me know.
If you see any more wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff, let me
Oh,
know.
I did.
Hold on, time sneeze incoming.
Oh,
You jinxed.
So,
fucked it up, Ty.
Galahad turns to you and is like, you know, everything around here is weird, right? Like all of it.
She takes a look at the sand shifter. Is it like? Is the chronal like?
There's a mild, just
Like, black pearl at like compass shit.
She looks at it, like disconcertingly. Ah,
you knew that the first time you were here.
I didn't. To be honest, I thought when we found you that some of that would bleed off, but it seems to have only increased.
I don't know that it's intensified any, but time is strange here. Though, I wonder if it has anything to do with where we're going. We are close, you understand.
Very close.
So you guys, continue forwards.
Uh,
Takes you, go ahead.
I want to have a conversation with the captain as well.
Yes.
Cass is walking alongside him and looks at the armor and says, "You know, I noticed you pour something inside of that on our last battle.
Yes.
Did you happen to find that?"
Yes, that was in the same vault. Seems to be that you can consume it. I don't know
Yes.
how many times you can do that. I don't know if it's toxic or anything, but it's strong stuff.
I noticed you wouldn't happen to have any more left, would you?
No, it is all gone. I'm
Then
hoping I don't need to run this for too much longer.
Yes, because I'm going to say, if it runs on that, like that's what it's fuel, you might be out of luck with your right hook.
Well, I'll find something else to shove in there.
There you go.
Well, I'm sure you will. I'm just mentioning. But if we do happen to find more, or you happen to find more, please let me know. I'd like to study it.
Absolutely.
And another thing. Oh, and one more thing.
Oh, and one more thing.
Oh, and one more thing.
It's more
Don't wake
military
the mother.
in a consistency of what I want to ask you.
Absolutely.
What do you do to inspire your men? Or I know you lead by example. What else do you do?
I don't rightly have an answer for you. I lead from the front. I swing my sword first. I charge into battle for the thrill of the hunt and for the thrill of victory. And my men are inspired by that heroism. There are other men of the same feather who enjoyed this sort of roundabout thrill-seeking.
Those of the same feather flock together.
Absolutely.
No.
Was that a race joke? We making race jokes now?
No, Chuko, that was not a race joke. Although it can easily be interpreted as one. That was my apologies.
Might be.
Do you know who I am?
Way to lead by example.
I wield the Witherwhack, okay?
And
I'm a force of nature.
And I wield the Wayfinder. What the fuck? We both got legendary ass weapons.
At 2 feet away, you're dead. You're dead. What's your shit-ass gun gonna do against my, like, inch-thick great shield?
God, will you two shut up? We have a long enough walk as it is. You're making it longer.
That and
I will find this amusing.
it is really funny.
Um.
But there could be demons around, but it's really funny.
Anyway, Cass continues the conversation, and I want to know how to lead properly. There's a lot for me left in this world that I want and need to do. I've promised to do, and I can only do it in being the leader that my people need me to be.
Well, madam, I mean you no offense, but you are, between the two of us, the only one who is both a mayor and a knight. You are the only one who has to lead troops into battle. I lead my roundabout band of mercenaries. And that is two very different things.
Even still, it has a certain weight trying to keep your men from going.
It is easy when you can name all of the people who follow you to get them to follow you. It is hard to inspire confidence in the thousands, and I have no experience with that. Perhaps your other friends would know better than I, or maybe not.
I may have to speak to Castor. He was is still a war priest of Safe. Regardless, thank you for your counsel, Ren.
You're very welcome. Anyone else have any chatter? Otherwise,
No.
we're moving forward.
No.
Who has
No.
Who has the bag of holding?
I do.
Cass has the bag of holding.
What do you need the bag of holding for?
I didn't say I needed the bag of holding.
What did you?
Not in character, anyways.
Well, what does she need the bag of holding for?
It may become relevant.
She need to jiggle her titty in it.
it's like yeah.
It's cold in there. It keeps them.
Yeah, this one says a lack of air.
Keeps them nice and
It's
chilled.
a vacuum,
But
so
she
you put
hates
the
the
heat.
cold.
You've put a fire in there.
Well, you just need to
Have
get
it
the
heat up
nips
for a
hard,
second
and then
and
you
just-
can.
You can't have a fire in there. There's no air.
Well, no, like if you have it open.
I mean, your fire is not normal.
Also, that is true.
I guess.
You could also make it so fire still burns when there is no air.
Can I just do that?
That's how.
Yes.
That's literally what the Codex Ignis is.
Oh.
It's the Book of Fire.
I mean, you produce fire at this point by such esoteric means that the fuel and oxidizer that produces the heat are entirely arcane. Like, if I was to put this in
fire out of nothing.
if I were to put this in real world terms, like, effectively what happened when you were absorbed by that neutron star is you came out the other side of it understanding how to create heat without air. And you don't know necessarily that you're doing this, it's kind of just an intuition, but your fire comes from fusion at this point. Like, you're just...
That's like nuclear shit.
Right. You're binding atoms and using the heat from that fusion to generate heat.
Oh. Yeah, it's not normal, like, air fire.
Like, you create star fire. I'm awesome. I understand.
I didn't know what that meant.
Anyway.
But anyways, you guys travel for about 2 or 3 hours. Along the way, you find a number of the captain's men deceased, and each time you pass one of them, he closes their eyes and says a brief prayer, and takes something from their bodies and the leaves. And you guys eventually arrive at this mound in the dirt, in this barren wasteland, remnants of a long forgotten, well, not forgotten, but long since past war. And this mound in the ground, kind of like a fallout vault, just has like a normal door in front of it. And he says, well, we'll open that door and we'll go a decent ways inside. You'll go down what feels like a couple of stories, and once you're down there, there's this colossal door.
Captain, while you were down there, did any of your men ever encounter any traps?
If there are traps, they're beyond the door.
I see.
Yeah, well, and aside from the demons.
And how many of them are down there still?
A lot.
Have you seen their general?
I mean, I wouldn't know whether or not they're led by anyone. They're demons.
Sir Galahad.
The only authority they respect is power.
I understand.
Actually, there were more than demons. It seemed as though there were devils with them, and they definitely respect authority, but they might not necessarily have a leader.
Is that Galahad?
Yes.
Cass pipes up and says, well, it could be possible the demons and devils moved in since he's retired. He was a powerful spellcaster, that much is certain, but you can't do much when you're dead.
I suppose not.
Before we go in, I need the bag of holding, Cass.
What for?
She removes the glove of her left hand, not the one that has the ring under it. But she, like, motions towards you as this needs to go in there.
Just hand it to me.
What are you putting in there?
It's a glove.
The glove of storing.
Is that what you have the codex inside of?
Yes.
You lose all of the powers from the codex.
What? Why?
Because it'll be safe in there.
I want to point out, if anything happens to this bag, everything in it flies out.
Good thing you have it then.
Fair enough. She sticks it in. And she ties it around her waist. I want to point out the Philosopher's Stone is not in the bag of holding.
I know. I know where you put it.
Yes, it's in her own separate thing.
She's got a little...
In her bra.
No!
That would be very uncomfortable.
Do you keep rocks on your tits all day? Like, that's...
You suddenly necessarily have a third tit.
I see you have 3 chests going on today.
Ah! I see your left boob has gotten bigger.
Well, that aside. And
That sounds painful.
good luck to you. Good hunting. He opens the door.
Oh, you're not coming with us?
Oh no, I'm coming with you.
Oh, okay.
I just wish you good hunting.
Oh, of course, right back at you, friend.
As he opens the door, you guys begin to notice that this is held up by, like, incredibly strong, what appears to be some kind of brass alloy architecture. Like, this little mound in the dirt probably, like, held up substantially more stone, or at least more weight above it at the point in time that it was built. So all of the surrounding area, as it is obvious, like, when you enter the scar, there's a cliff. It's like 300 feet down.
Yeah.
Something created this indentation in the earth. Whatever was on top of it is long since passed. But the structure inside is immaculate. It doesn't even gather dust. It looks as though it was the day that it was made. The only dust that comes in is from when you open the door. The sand that blows in from the winds. There's this eerie whistle as the door flings open of the wind, bellowing inwards. There are corpses laden all about the hall. Swords and suits of armor, crumpled messes of men, demons, and devils. It's hard to find a place to step that isn't covered in some form of viscera.
Quite the battle.
Yes, my men are fierce. That much is undoubted.
You did all this with only having 15 men.
Yes.
I'm quite impressed.
Cass gets a smirk on her face.
Goro pulls out the sand shifter, and I'm guessing it's starting to go crazy.
Yes, the sand shifter is basically like the Geiger counter equivalent of like at the end of the Geiger counter.
Well, no mistaking it.
So, Cass looks back to the door. I sure hope we're able to leave this time.
Oh, well, it'll be fine. We'll be able to get out.
The reason I say that is because last time we walked through a door here in some decrepit place, we could not leave until something was done.
No. Drolish is just kind of, as she's saying this, Drolish just silently points towards Cora's arm.
Cedric, Mock, watch the door. We'll be back. And he leaves 2 of his men to watch the door as it closes behind you. They watch the door from the inside, I might add. They close the door with them.
What I mean is that if you were to open the door, it would be black. Nothing. There would be nothing there.
Oh no. We were able to leave the first time, so hopefully that happens again. If not, well, good hunting. It's been great.
Of course.
I have to be right back.
Mm-hmm.
This is a you need to move immediately type situation.
That's fair.
Emergency.
Oh boy.
No, it's not going to be a long-term thing. It's just I haven't used the restroom all day.
You're all good.
Fair.
You need to move immediately. You have no idea how many times we made that noise walking around the gorilla enclosures.
The fucking mega baboons.
Walk by the chimps. They didn't respond to us. They looked over like us like we were fucking stupid.
That's the look you got?
Most of them just staring into space.
They look like fucking old dudes sitting on a porch on a rocking chair.
That's alright. That's fair though, I mean.
They look like my neighbor.
Gorillas don't give a shit about you or your family.
Ever since Amy.
They don't.
Ever since Amy texted me the fucking stats, I really want to hit something now.
I'm
Bad,
sure.
really bad.
It's ridiculous, honestly.
It's dumb.
Brother,
I am
metal
boxes. Commander Boreal.
I'm gonna need 2 bolters
Wait,
for this
wait.
heresy.
Don't hold an axe.
Mm-hmm. What?
Where?
Is there another sword around here?
Over that
I
way.
could get
Here it is.
I could get you.
The Codex Astatius named this maneuver Death and Defeat.
The
Well,
only
not
thing you
this
can
one.
possibly do.
That's encouraging.
It's over there.
No, that's not true, see. You think that, but you're wrong. If someone's supposed to swing on the head at you.
Did you not see that
I mean,
Commander
I guess
Boreal
that's
video?
actually-
I
That's-
am watching.
that's
That's
too much movement.
Also,
Oh, they're great.
alternatively, you come around.
Good
swing it
job,
like this.
Dingulon.
Time. I mean, that is true.
Oh shit,
but I
here
will
comes the
say
gunch.
The first time
Gunch.
that
Gunch.
The first time you
Gumption.
You
Takes so
may
much
have
time,
been
look.
knocked out at the time, but there was
said-
a
he said-
Grinch
I know-
tied to the back of a fender of a truck.
Oh, I remember
He
that.
said
Yeah, the
overhead, right?
Gunch.
Alright, so if I come down,
We traded DVZs.
do DBZ.
So how are you enjoying the session so far?
It's interesting. I'm missing a lot of context, but that's just how it be.
Yeah. Have you been watching any of the episodes or not?
Bits and pieces. I listened in on over Discord, I think, a few weeks ago or something. But
Oh,
I,
like
was
you were-
also, I was also driving at the time, so.
You couldn't really like pay attention the whole time.
And I did listen to it when I got back, and then I don't remember what happened after that. That was. a
Yeah.
while ago.
Shit happens in this fucking campaign. Man.
I mean, shit happens in most campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I should fucking hope.
If nothing happens in your campaign, I feel like that's a sign of not a very great campaign.
Welcome to my D&D campaign. You'll all be farmers.
I mean,
I love low fantasy.
but you could actually make that interesting.
I don't even
You
know
could
if
make
that's
that
low
interesting,
fantasy. I don't
absolutely.
think. I think that's just
The
low.
fantasy part is hoping for a better life.
Yeah. The fantasy is
Like you're
being
just a
part
surf and then fucking.
There's a fucking old man just walking out of his house. Just.
What's the fucking name of the guy that led the Rodox?
I
I
know-
know. King Rabbit?
What
I
was
know who you're talking about.
I don't remember. Like, I don't know who specifically you mean.
it?
The,
Fuck,
the
I think
faction
his name-
leader for the Rodox and Warband.
The Rodox and Warband.
Yeah, like, it was King Grappith, wasn't it?
I think so. I know.
Self-proclaimed king.
I don't mean the Rodox. The fucking the red. Like their name is usually red.
Swadia.
Swadia, the
Fucking
king of the Swadians.
King Harless, that dumb piece of butter churning shit.
Yeah, butter man. Like you're like a surf making butter, like fucking king, whatever the fuck walks up and like, hey, you got my butter for me, bro?
Jesus.
My lord, we don't have any castles left. Yeah, but I need butter though. We're gonna have a feast
Yeah, man,
next
need
week.
like butter.
Yeah, what?
But you're always feasting. This doesn't change. There's a feast coming. Give me my butter.
Just being called a piece of butter churning shit.
If we need castles, we'll go fight the Kurgats. They don't know how to do a siege.
No, like they just tried to run their horses into the wall and like, what the fuck happened, guys?
You guys okay? You don't know. That's not how horses work.
Were
like
you expecting to run over the wall, like run up the side of the wall?
It's like platform 9 3/4. You just gotta believe you can go through it.
Our horses are about to get real vertical.
You have to
fast.
you have to go into the 4th dimension.
You gotta
To be to siege a castle as the Kurgats, you really just need to go into the 4th dimension.
Imagine ever finishing a warband campaign.
Oh, so like every campaign you start,
Ooh.
fucking that game is that's slower than molasses that has been charred.
It's mostly just because it's just grind to get all the lords to like you, and then it's just like, hey, you want to join my faction? Yeah, cool. Your lord sucks. Let's do it.
You want to join my club? No girls allowed.
Fuck it. You guys got any fetch quest? I need some more of those, please.
Sorry for that delay. I've had very little time to.
You got any quests that don't involve stealing from the poor?
All right.
No,
So.
Take the money at home.
I want butter.
One other thing that our magical companions recognize, or rather anyone who has detect magic up at will, which I believe is everyone but you and Drolish.
Yep.
Is
Casper
it
doesn't
this-
have detect magic.
He doesn't?
No.
I will know.
Oh.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure you have a level 0 detect magic,
Yeah.
which is
I
at will.
think this came up before and we discovered he doesn't.
Hmm.
We can look into it.
Regardless, that's not what's
Yeah.
important. What's important is that the people who are magic recognize that this place is incredibly magical. Like, the architecture itself, its construction, is inherently magic. And it puts up a field of abjuration.
Oh,
It's very bright in here.
that's
Never.
interesting.
As you pass into it, it doesn't feel like it's repelling you. It feels like a cage.
And whatever. Oh, that's disconcerting. Pyro, you feel that?
Hmm.
This place.
I feel
Oh,
trapped.
it's not right. That's for certain.
It's almost like it's meant to keep something in.
Well,
But I mean,
it's done a pretty good job of it so far.
Castle walks back to the door and opens it.
You're still in the real world, but
Okay. Just
Just-
check.
Perception check.
just
Is Griggs listening?
Is Griggs here? We're
Where
being
is he?
spied on.
where is he?
Where is he? There's a Grix-shaped hole like through the ceiling.
You just
Griggs-
see,
no,
you see
Griggs
Griggs
is like
pressed against the
fa-
wall, like.
He fades in like Homer into the bush.
Just into a sand dune.
No,
What did he roll?
like
Oh,
It was
yeah,
16
I do
on
have it.
die.
there's no Griggs.
There's no Griggs.
He just
All right, good looking out. Keep that up.
That's what it was. It's that I did have it. I just didn't have it prepared at that time.
It's not at will.
Do you have it prepared
I mean,
now?
Yes.
it
Okay.
would be. If it's a level 0 spell, it has a 10-minute duration and you can
Oh.
cast it infinitely.
I have to specifically select the Elysians for the day.
Right.
So you do have to prepare it.
But it's
Which
not
I-
like spell slots.
Yeah, no. I can cast them infinitely. I just have to specifically choose which ones I can cast that day.
Cora sets her hand on the start of cost. Don't suppose you have anything to add to this about demons or devils.
Who are you talking to?
Cost.
Ah, the sword itself. There are a great many of them. Lots of great demons. My master had me slay many.
enemies of his he had produced over decades, nearly a century rather, of his necromantic ne'er-do-wellery. They are strong, formidable opponents, demons more so individually, intense ferocity, very little regard for tactical mindset, perfectly willing to throw their lives and limbs on the line just to get one last good hack at you. But devils, they're organized. They have a rule of law and order. It's almost commendable. Their forces are incredibly adept, but they're easier to break. They have will. Demons do not.
Thank you.
Quick aside, like out of character, does this area, is it like a very large open area with pillars going up like in all directions essentially?
Yeah, so you guys are
So we're
going
in
down,
Moria.
and it's, huh?
So we're in Moria.
Not quite. It's not that big. It's like this tall, but as you go down, like the ceiling stays this height for like 30 feet, and then you begin going down an actual stairway.
Okay.
It's not a spiral stairway, it's like hatchback stairs that take you down a couple of stories. But the architecture is all the same.
As we're traveling, I know Cass doesn't really know much about demons, but can she look at the corpses of the demons and devils to see if I could find anything that would be of distinguishing? Like something that would be like a crest or a sigil? Because that's not necessarily exclusive to devils.
No such thing. Actually, they all have one sigil on them, but you don't. Well, do you have knowledge, history, or planes?
No,
Okay.
I don't.
You could.
I could take it to one of you guys, because like she'd just be like, that looks weird. Hey, weird people.
Gee, thank you.
Are you speaking to me?
No, she wouldn't actually say that.
Hey, you fucking weirdos.
She's like looking at all the devils and it's just like
Magicians.
a lot of these devils and demons have a lot of the same sigil on them. It's very not big though. And she like cuts a piece of it off and like, hey, would you happen to know like either of you know this?
I guess a planes or history roll, whichever is bigger. Okay. Knowledge planes, I've got it at a 14. Knowledge history, I've got it at 13. So it's going to be planes.
That's the town die. 23.
24.
Or 24.
24. What did you roll?
24.
No, I mean what stat?
Oh, planes.
Planes. Okay. It is the symbol of a long dead titan. The proto-gods that came before the... So, like, rather, not they didn't come before the gods of the world. The titans and the gods kind of coexisted, but many of the titans died in the war of the first, before the First Age. And their death caused a split into separate gods. So Io, for instance, died and was split into Bahamut and Tiamat. It is the symbol of the Titan Asmodeus.
Ooh.
Huh. Okay. So, do I know? Do I know? Because in normal D&D lore, the fate of Asmodeus is well, he's kicking. But do I know anything about him in your world?
Asmodeus is thought by every extant non-cult religion in the world, like every modern mainstream religion, to be dead. Like, his death is a canonized part of every officially recognized cloister.
That's old. This is Asmodeus' sigil, one of the primordial gods. They were called Titans, and their death resulted in the gods that became part of the primary pantheon.
Not exactly. I mean, some of the Titans died, right? And there are a few of them left.
Well,
but
yes, but
some of the gods also just existed.
A titan sounds way more formidable than a god, I have to say.
but
Some of
has
them
more-
were.
Has more of a kick to it.
some of them were. Bahamut and Tiamat were once part of a great god named Io. They died, and now we have both of them. But this, and she hands it back to you. Asmodeus is by all accounts dead.
There is one other significant part about the mythology of the death of Asmodeus.
No.
It took place before the War of the First Age, and it was his death that triggered that war in the first place. From his corpse spewed forth all of demon and devil kind.
But and by all accounts, he should be very dead. So we are either dealing with people who are incredibly old, or history is unfortunately very wrong. But
it could be worshippers of Asmodeus. He might be dead, but that doesn't mean people can't still worship him.
It could
follow
be
his teachings, if he had any.
It could be. Demons and devils were very literally birthed from his corpse.
Strange indeed.
I'm gonna hold on to this.
It's not a very good image.
So,
Cast like pin the tool out or something.
you guys proceed deeper into the workings of this cave, or this tunnel, or this blurry blue. Once you reach the bottom of the stairs, it is a straight shot with more of these pillars and these like mechanized lights, like something keeps these lights on without an obvious fuel to burn. Some kind of arcane energies, and it streaks through the walls in these large glass tubes. And in front of you is this massive gear-shaped door, and on the front of it there's an hourglass where the sand is slowly dropping in one direction.
Cass shifts her gaze to Cora and Galahad.
This is as far as we got, and as you can see, there are more corpses that litter the room. We're not sure where the demons came from. They just appeared.
How much work did you do trying to open that door?
We had just gotten here.
Suffer too many casualties and have to pull back?
I mean, we were outnumbered immediately.
How did they appear?
They just appeared to walk into the room, as though they belonged here. As though we had just stumbled into an ambush that materialized out of thin air.
Well, it's not entirely impossible that it's still here. Perhaps there's some sort of catalyst walking through a certain point, warns them.
I'm going to... Oh, go on.
That's essentially all I was going to say.
I'm going to roll perception to see if I can't see any kind of magical sensor.
Okay.
11 plus... I think it's plus 11? Yes. 22.
There is no magical sensor. The door is an incredibly complicated mechanism, both mechanically and magically. You can hear the sound of your watch, like, fucking around. Like, from your pocket, you can hear it.
Jeez.
I'm sorry for speaking earlier. I made a mistake. I need my glove back.
Okay.
I can't do this.
Pyro.
She slips it back on.
You're growing awfully dependent on that.
You,
It's hard to not do when you have the power of all fire.
I suppose it's understandable.
you've been
You
rather
okay?
quiet.
It's nothing worth mentioning now. We have bigger things to deal with.
If it affects your ability to fight, it is very important.
As long as I have this, it won't.
Okay.
So how big a hammer are we gonna need to bust this thing down?
That is not happening. And
I mean, we need a way in, don't we?
yes, we need a way in, but we're not going to use a hammer.
I'd like to take some notes of this before we did even touch it.
By all means.
He sketches up the
Guess not going
mechanisms
anywhere
that
for a
she
while
can
anyway.
visibly see. Is there any way to look inside the door? Like there's a keyhole or something?
Nope.
Okay.
The only notable feature is that on the front of it, much like the bomb that you guys at one point detonated, there is a glass pane that is illuminated, and it flicks between like different handprints of different species.
Cora approaches the door and so this hourglass is so this hourglass figurine. It's actual
built into the gear. And the door, as it opens, like, it doesn't open when you approach, but, like, it appears through the mechanism, it is obvious that the door will turn the hourglass to the opposite direction to open.
Can I don't want to. So is the sand like could I make an estimate by at the rate the sand is draining about how long it would take for all of the sand from the top to come to the bottom?
Make an intelligence check.
Okay. That wasn't a very good roll. 10.
A very, very, very long time.
I see.
There are like, so this hourglass is like the size of these two tables put together.
Ouch.
Oh. And I assume the opening is enough to let like 1 or 2 grains go in.
Right.
How much is in the bottom?
It's about half full. It's about half of the total quantity of sand.
So it looks like this thing's been taken for a long time.
Oh, you're fine. Years. Not the minimum.
Decades.
I would wager a lot longer than that, just based on the flow rate. But again, we need to get through that door.
Well, I know some. Well, this looks familiar. And Cora takes her non-mechanical hand and puts it on the door. Rather, on the sensor.
Before you do that, Cass is gonna. Remember last time we put handprints on things that are on a glass pane?
I remember.
We blew up half a Chardalon's horde.
I don't think I would.
Yeah,
ever,
that did happen.
I don't
Yes,
think I'd ever forget
did.
that, Cass.
Just wanted to make sure. That happened, yes.
We blew up a little.
We blew up a lot of his.
You know, I sometimes forget you haven't been here for some of the more outlandish things.
I knew you had been here before. The story's for another time. Let's continue.
Before you do that.
And if need be, if this doesn't work, I could always try and bust our way in.
I feel like that would break the door, and then we'd have no
That
chance.
is.
I don't know. It's a very thick door.
No, that isn't happening. The both of you, this is incredibly intricate mechanical work. Not only would that almost certainly not work, there would probably, definitely be an immediate retribution.
Perhaps, but we need what's on the other side.
We need what's on the other side, but they worked this hard to lock it down. It's probably well defended.
Maybe.
Anyway, as Cass was saying, before you do that, I want to make a note of all the hands of the races that show up.
Sure.
All of the mortal races of the world.
All of them.
Yes.
That's a lot of them.
Like all of the races of all of the like sentient peoples.
Human, fae, orcs, dragonkin,
Correct.
dragonborn, all that kind of shit.
Like there's like 60 different races.
A lot.
Yeah.
After that, Cora starts to put her hand towards it and then realizes, oh, hold on.
It is
One
a
of-
left hand print.
One of you. They probably, if it can sense what I am, it might react poorly.
Can I ask a question?
What?
What makes you think any of their handprints are going to work?
They're human.
And
Well, at the very least, it gets us a bit more information.
Laura does have a point. If this is war age technology, it could sense there being drow and immediately detonate or something.
it does have drow handprints.
Oh.
And Catholic flips. I do want to point out it does have handprints that would match the drow.
And then trollers.
This machine does not discriminate between the races.
They're all left-handed, and then there is one handprint that is right-handed.
Which one is that?
It does not mention a race.
It just looks nondescript.
Vaguely humanoid.
Well,
it is definitely a 5-fingered hand.
Well,
it's very smooth and it's got weird articulations at the joints.
What?
That's odd.
That is odd.
Cora,
What?
take a look at your hand.
It's not. Is it the same hand? Who knows?
Well, in any case, the worst they can do is beep right at us. And she puts her mechanical hand on the sensor.
Authorization. Cora Amarin. Recognized.
And then the door begins to like pull backwards, and the hourglass tilts, and the door pulls backwards again, and then slots into the wall.
Oh.
The door, you now recognize, was about 20 feet thick. So if you're planning to cut through it, you'd have been here for a while.
Caster's jaw just fucking drops.
Yeah.
Oh, that worked.
Mine too.
Alright, I mean,
I take it that's another part of the story I'm missing?
No.
No.
I think
This-
this is more chalking up to being perks of being a chronomancer.
No, this is some.
Are
this
you
is
sure? This place is
Something... Oh no,
timey-wimey.
it's definitely, but this is something new.
You did find a book that you'd written that you haven't written yet.
That's what she's been studying?
Yeah, did you see the book that looks identical to the other one?
Let's not think about this too much.
Correct.
That would be smart.
You all go on ahead. I'm going to
The doors-
examine the mechanics of this place.
So, as the door opens, and you see what lies beyond, it opens into this colossal antechamber. It is easily the size of a football field, and it is laden with all kinds of just. Aw, it's Gizmo. Hey, Gizmo, hi, Gizzard.
The big.
Oh yeah, Ty, you haven't been here. We got 2 more cats here
Yeah,
now that my
I know.
mom's moved in.
You got Gizmo and what?
Gizmo
Jojo?
and Jojo.
Gizmo and Jojo. They're good boys.
They are good boys.
Yada yada yada.
One is round, the other one has a memory span of a gnat.
Yeah.
anyway.
He is.
He's lovely.
He writes the short books. Leave him.
Kill Jotaro. You can't find his body.
Anyway,
Stardust Crusader
doors
starts
are
playing. Yada yada yada.
The doors are open. Let's not think too much about it. Let's proceed forward.
Well, anyways, as I was saying, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
So, as you open into the antechamber, it's this huge workshop. Like, all kinds of stuff is being built in here. There's desks with books laid out everywhere. Again, all in immaculate condition, not a layer of dust to be seen anywhere. There are doors on the north, west, northeast and west walls, and then there's the door that you enter from, which is southward, we'll say. Each of these doors is equally as intricate as this one, though it doesn't look as though they all have, like, access panels on them. The walls of this place, while they do still have the large pillars and they have the weird glass tubes pushing forth some weird arcane voltaic energy, covered in books from every age of every time ever. Like, there is a catalog of the entirety of history up until the end of the war, like the Civil War, in this library.
Cora is like, honestly, like, she's looking around and she's like looking genuinely excited, and she like moves to one of the bookshelves and she like her hand darts along the books and then like to another one and just
They are all written in archaic common.
Oh, I could spend years in this room.
I thought you were gonna say I could spend an eternity in here. Then my heart was gonna cry because of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Remember that guy?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
But anyway, Cass walks up next to you
My
and
heart
is like,
was gonna cry.
I'm afraid I don't have years.
"Do you mind giving me a history lesson one of these days?"
Of course.
Perfect.
This is weird.
It's a little weird.
What?
Like, there's no dust. Nothing.
No, it's
No.
immaculate.
Like it just been built
Why
yesterday.
is there no one here anymore?
That's what I've been wondering.
Cass wants to shoulder the wayfinder for the compass to pop up.
Okay.
Where does the compass point to?
What does the compass on the Wayfinder do?
It points to the direction of Kalim's Istrith.
Does it?
Does it?
I mean, that's what the strong implication was.
I thought it pointed towards the Empress of the Rose Petal Throne.
No.
I thought it fucking pointed north.
It pointed like northeast, somewhere past the scar, but not directly.
Oh, that's right. So, you're in this like. It points in the same direction relative to your movement through the world.
Yeah.
But there's no significant change at the moment.
One of these days. She puts it back down.
Actually, yeah.
Okay.
The phrase "at the moment."
Well, I mean, there's no change presently. What else would I say?
That's true.
But
Pyre keeps a solid distance from the books and shelves and such.
Anyway, yeah.
yeah, please don't set anything on
Cass
fire.
pulls out the bag of holding. Load it up. I don't think we really have. I mean, I know we wouldn't have the time to read all of it now.
No.
And I don't think we have the ability. We'd have the ability to come back here with our present state.
It's also best not.
Pick your favorites and
It's
put them in.
best not to meddle with anything here, I'd imagine.
You were talking about cutting the fucking door down.
There is a.
I want that's a good point.
That was before we had a solution. We needed to move forward. This is idle.
What languages does Pyro speak?
Just roll down the list.
There's a lot of them.
Just get the scroll.
Just get the scroll.
Pyra
Everburn speaks the languages of Elven, Aquan.
I'm gonna hit you with the shoe.
Yeah.
Common, Ignan, Elven, Dwarven, Aquan, Orin, Draconic, Orcish, and Abyssal.
Okay. So, in a you recognize Abyssal language on a book. It is mixed in with Draconic and Elven. It looks like someone has produced this conlang, constructed language, for the specific intent that it would retain its meaning through the evolution of language. It shows tongues that don't evolve. Abyssal has always stayed the same. Draconic rarely changes, and Elf also rarely changes.
Does
And
it have the Elvish word for friend on it?
Sure.
God, fuck.
It also does this similar to the language in Europe, where if you speak any European language,
Yeah.
you can read it.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's very excellently written.
What is the title?
It is well, there's not necessarily a title. It's not labeled.
Is it
But-
like spine writing?
There's nothing on the spine. But as you look through the tome itself, like just the pages that are open on the book, unless you thumb through it more thoroughly, suggest that this is a journal, that this is somebody's research notes.
What do you got there?
There's no name on it?
There's no name on it at the moment.
Looks like it might be a journal, written in a very interesting selection of languages. Ones that don't or rarely evolve.
A journal of what?
It's all draconic to me.
Difficult to tell without trying to read through it more thoroughly,
Well,
which there isn't much time for.
we have a moment. It might give us some. It might give us some insight as to what we might find in here.
Seems as likely as anything else to give us information. In the meantime, I'm going to be playing with the giant robots.
Rock'em Sock'em's in the corner.
And he moves over to a wall of suits that are similar to his.
There's a wall of suits. I know. Cass runs up and she wants to examine all any cartridges or stuff or openings that would have any of that vial.
Like
of
children
stuff
in a
it.
sweet store.
There are no other canisters of whatever it is that he powers the suit with. They are all inactive.
Trollish moves towards the suits and see if there's one her size.
Oh God.
So along the line of suits, there is something that you notice. They're all put together in a line. They're all labeled. You presume it's not in a language you can read, but it's Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, Mark 4, Mark 5.
Mm-hmm.
So where the 7th one would be, it's empty.
Mm-hmm.
Captain's the newest one.
Probably what the captain is wearing, but the captain never got into this vault, which means that this suit had to be stuck outside.
Somewhere else.
Yes. The other thing that you notice is that on the 8th pedestal, the only thing that is there is a very strange pair of boots. And they've got, you know how when you go to the shoe store and they've got that weird, like, retractable thing that you can put around your foot?
Yeah.
These shoes have a similar mechanism where you can put them around anyone's foot.
You know, I could use me some new
George
shoes.
goes to reach down and pick them up.
You children have fun playing. I guess I'll look
They
through
are
this.
magnetized together, so if you pick up one shoe, you get both.
Okay, that's fine.
Having picked her tome of choice, she once again maintains a safe distance from any bookshelves.
Fascinating.
Basically posts up against the door we just came through and starts reading.
Other than that, Cass wants to try and find any schematics for weaponry ages past.
Yes.
Cora.
Like, specifically the things that go boom. Not necessarily big bomb boom. More like firearm boom.
I see. But, huh?
Cast your magic on this.
What? That's...
Do your wiggly woo with your fingers and do
Do
the
your
magics.
woo-woo.
Fine, yeah, sure.
Do you need a goat?
Would you like a
Someone
hat and a rabbit?
I was very tempted to show like, you nerd, come over here.
She's honestly kind of geeking out about
Nerd,
all-
identify.
all these fucking
Nerd.
all these
Spell.
books.
It's like the gif of like the one junk going Nerd!
But yeah, sure. I will roll spellcraft on the boots to see if I can't
Excellent.
make some headway with them.
I can already tell
Casher.
you, looking at the boots with your detect magic, they are not magic.
I think that's really cool.
That's really
That is-
neat.
that is-
That's really cool.
So.
Matt, are you okay?
Really cool.
Sorry.
She looks at them. They're not magic.
What was that?
Excellent.
They're not magic.
Interesting.
And I rolled a 23 on spellcraft, but I'm guessing that gets me nothing.
It gets you nothing. They're non-magical.
Okay, well,
Excellent.
let me see something else. And I would like to roll knowledge engineering on the boots.
3.
Fucking hell.
I found those at the final pedestal on the line of suits.
I'm assuming I need a linguistics roll on this tome.
Well, considering you understand all three constituent languages,
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true.
it will take you a little bit, but you don't really need to roll linguistics for it, and I will get to you momentarily.
I'm just making sure I'm not missing out on a roll I gotta do.
It's 22 still.
Nice.
You good there?
Oh yeah, that was good.
22 on engineering.
Nice, vibrated my throat.
That is the worst.
That's great. It's liberating.
You don't miss. You don't have to worry about ever not hitting.
If you're fighting, maybe if we get to Azathoth, then you're just like, oh shit, I guess I have to roll a 10.
Oh no, I have to roll an 8. What is this?
This sucks. I miss when I just have to roll a natural 1 to miss.
What the fuck? Cthulhu means I gotta roll a 6?
I have to actually
Shit
put
sucks,
in
bro.
I have to actually put in effort to kill things. This blows.
What? I missed once? Not another fucking reroll.
Shit, man.
Never mind that you actually already have done that.
I know. I'm well aware I've done that.
I didn't crit. Not gonna reroll.
Oh, what? That's a 14? That's almost a crit. Alright, not gonna reroll. I want this. Everything about that statement is the worst, by the way.
Okay, so you rolled engineering, you said.
Yes.
22.
Absolutely.
Strong magnets.
Magnets.
Magnet.
How
Big
they work.
Magnet.
There's nothing nothing particularly special about them. However, in the souls are very, very, very strong magnets. I wonder if can I see if are these boots like electrically powered? Is there an on-off switch? Are these electric magnets?
There is no obvious on or off to this anything. You do notice that the materials are electromagnets, though the magnets that hold the shoes together are charged from no discernible source.
Where's a book I can be flipping through for effect?
Ah, your book. That's right.
No, I need a, I was gonna say something.
I can
Just
hand
use
you a
the
rule book.
fucking journal.
I'll make sure I flip to a blank page.
Okay.
Oh goodness, oh goodness.
So
Here we are, okay. Yeah.
as you're going through these boots, what you're reading through the book seems to suggest that they were doing a lot of work with demonology.
Oh, someone just put on the boots already. I know that's what you want to do.
not only were they doing a lot of work with demonology, they use a lot of interesting language that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And what I mean by that is they don't make a strong distinction between devils or demons. They make a distinction in that there are subgroups that prefer law and order and other groups that have just an anarchy to them. Law and order, demons and devils. Special victims unit.
Demon victim unit.
But and then there's the chaotic demons, but they don't make reference to any of the great demons like Dweeblex or the Demogorgon or anything else, and they don't make references to any of the great devils. They're a large group and they're sorted by phenotype. You know, you've got Balors, that is a specific type of demon, and not only that. Huh?
This is Balor's plural? Terrifying.
Yeah, well, there's more than one.
Yeah, Captain did say he'd already killed one before that.
Ah!
I mean, Chuko
Right.
did.
Or Chuko, sorry.
But the other thing that's interesting is the time period that they talk about in that book. It predates the First Age. I'm not saying that the book itself is from that time. Just that
the contents that they're referring to.
Correct.
Ah.
They are referring to events that happened in reverse order, I might add, from what little you know of history. It's significant to most religions, so it's something that you would pick up through osmosis.
I'm sorry, are you calling me stupid?
I am not calling you stupid. I'm saying that your character literally burns her memories. So, but yeah, it goes through the history of the war between the gods and the devils and demons in reverse order, and stops the page that it ends on just after the death of Asmodeus.
So this is a catalog of all the demons that sprouted from Asmodeus, allegedly.
So you put the boots on? Somebody puts the boots on?
Cass walks up and is like, stick them on the bottom of my feet.
Just boot me?
Boot me.
Boot me, bro!
Yeah, sure, okay.
I mean, they're not gonna fall off of these.
I told you.
You, you're going to have to pick up your feet very forcefully. And,
They're already, how heavy would these be, like 10 pounds?
That is less than a normal leg, Matt.
10? It's not a full leg.
One of them is like thigh down and the other is like knee down. And they're steel.
Are they solid?
15
Are they solid, completely solid
Regardless
steel?
of the weight of your heavy leggy.
Yeah.
Leggy.
well, okay. And, it's actually, you can just step into them.
Dick.
They self-adjust.
They fit any size from what I can tell.
Oh, one size fits all. Great. I love that design.
So once both of the boots are applied, they remagnetize back to each other, with you standing. And then these metal plates begin to like slide up your legs, and they slowly readjust.
Oh my god!
And every time they adjust, they continue to like remagnetize into a suit of armor until it completes itself looking like that over your body.
Oh, that has to turn on.
A dark void.
The dark void.
You look like Azathoth now. Now you look like...
Damn! Oh my god! Oh, shit! I knew it!
Oh my god.
You are wearing a full suit of articulated, highly magnetized armor.
I like the armor. I'm sad for the character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's big sad.
Well, in this particular instance, that should be Blaskowitz.
Is that Blaskowitz?
Yeah.
Yeah, that does look more male. I mean, I'm looking at it from an angle, so.
That's fair.
In any case.
You can have your journal back now. I did the joke I wanted to do.
You're fine, don't worry.
That's...
How do you... Oh, good.
Oh, that's
I got
nifty.
it.
That's stunning! How do you...
Hold on.
What does the inside look like?
So, from the inside, once the helmet closes around you, it has, like, first of all, everything in the room that's magic glows. Cora glows insanely, so does Pyra. Both of them just naturally glow. Chuko, who is
Maybe it's
like
Maybelline.
pushing some books around with a sword, just kind of sitting there.
Just like,
He
no one
also
talked to me yet.
is relatively just
Magical.
innately magical.
Caster probably lights up like a fucking.
Right, and
Yeah.
then just everything Caster wears and his divinity also makes him innately magical.
I can see
Droll is
magical
tracks.
stuff.
The other thing is that any areas in the room that were not well illuminated are perfectly lit for you. Like
I can also just see perfectly fine. You see what's in that corner over there? It points to a dark corner of the room.
Yes. Vaguely.
Well, I mean,
No.
So
you're talking to the one with the true side eye.
in the
That's
process,
5 feet in front of them.
in the process of the armor assembling itself around you, your rifle drops to the floor. You go to pick up the Wayfinder, and as you do pick it back up, and then you go to like shoulder it, a reticule appears in your helmet.
Oh, that's definitely handy.
Wow.
I can. There's
So you
a
can
lit-
no scope.
There's a little reticle in my eyes. This is some really advanced tech.
Then it seems that's for you.
Can you do a 360 quick scope?
What does that mean?
Anyway, since you have that armor, I'll go to the next best armor they have over here.
Well, you took Mark 8. Cap's got Mark 7.
I'll get another
Cass,
Mark 7.
Mark
Is
6.
there a way to take this off?
There's another
Is there a
Mark 7.
button? Is there like, do I look at something in the HUD? I don't know what that. In the head.
Do I look at something in the screeny bit?
Do I look at something in the techie bit where I could take it off?
Yeah, I just like picturing Cass going like.
There's no obvious off.
You
Off. Not anything.
Deactivate.
Deactivate. Turn off. I need to go to the bathroom.
There's
move.
there's a garbled mess of a language you don't understand that speaks to you inside of the helmet.
It's Jarvis.
And then it takes another couple of moments to recalibrate, and it's like, emotional readout verified, and then the armor begins to like deconstruct around you, and then lands back in the boots.
So you've
that
got
works.
a suit of Doom armor, but it collapses into an Iron Man briefcase.
So what she does is she takes off her cloak, she takes off her gloves, steps back on to have the armor come back on. Give me the cloak, give me the gloves. That's all. Like she has the cloak and gloves visible.
Huh. Interesting. Now,
How utterly fascinating.
I told you should have stepped into the boots.
I'd like to think Drollish
This is still
eventually comes
flipping
back
through this
with
book.
with the Mark 7 on the
So
wall,
you-
hoisting it. Just,
Do you try and put yourself into that armor?
Sheesh. Yeah.
She has to
Oh
like,
God.
this is a little tight.
Alright, so as you try
That's
and
my
fit
ad.
yourself into that armor, first of all, it is not well fitting, and
That's
second
fair.
of all, there's no power source.
Excellent.
She definitely is
You
a kid in a
you
candy store.
can't move in it. I want to say this again, Trollish. You can't move in it.
I know.
No, I don't mean it's hard. I mean you Drollish the barbarian. with-
Berserker of the Keep.
Have you tried raging yet? I'm sorry. We get it.
Yeah. It's fucking.
The strongest thing probably
Jesus.
on this plane cannot move in.
Right, like very likely
Aside
strong.
from
Yeah.
storm giants.
So, I'll let
No.
you
No.
Actually,
No.
I'm actually stronger
She could
than
probably-
Storm
It's
Giants.
probably
What the fuck?
probably kick a storm giant in the shin and be like, ah,
I'm actually stronger than Fire Giants, too.
just
Oh,
break
God.
the shit in half.
I
Just,
think maybe we established the only thing she isn't stronger than is hill giants.
No,
No,
hill
I'm
giants are
significantly
super
stronger.
weak.
Oh,
hill giants are the
really
weakest
weak.
here.
Hill
Fire
giants are-
giants are the strongest.
Oh
Fire and storm giants.
And
are
I'm
the-
stronger.
Are the biggest.
God.
Anyway, so she gets into the suit. She's like, snug fit. Okay.
Having some trouble,
It
man.
just-
Like Cass walks up in the Marquet armor. You having some trouble?
Yeah, it's real heavy.
I can't move it.
You can't move.
The joints lock up real hard without some kind of power source.
Oh.
So, don't run out of power.
Excellent.
Even
I'll
the
try-
beefcake can't move
Maybe-
in it.
maybe that it's solar powered. That would be nice.
I'm down with that.
I mean,
Hard no, Chief.
Anyway, so she manages. She squeezes herself out. Okay. He has the same model.
Yeah, there is not another Mark 7.
Oh, okay. So it's a Mark 6.
It was
Got
empty.
Yeah,
Got it,
no,
got it,
7
got it.
was
Yeah,
gone.
that's
8
right.
just got taken.
Yeah.
So.
Uh,
Wow.
all right. So if I can move that without a power source, there's no power source here from what we can see.
Hey, Pyro, what's in that journal?
From what I can tell, it's basically a compendium of the types of demons and devils that emerged from Asmodeus' death. Not from a religious standpoint, more so I hesitate to call it scientific.
I mean, what else would you call it? The study of demonology as a science.
It's just a weird approach to it that doesn't make any reference to any larger name, important demons or devils. It's just classification by genus. Like phenotype is a thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, phenotype's a word. Just like genus, phenotype. And the timeline of it is strange too. It works backwards in order of events and references things that happened before the first age.
I'm sorry?
Well, that's very old.
Indeed.
This bodes ill.
This is. I love this building.
Of course.
Do any of the
Of course you
Do any of the demons or devils referenced within this compendium of things have a particular inclination towards fire?
I mean, lots of demons and devils do.
They're all.
Oh yeah, you said this didn't mention any particular names. That's right.
The abyss and the what's the other? There's the abyss and
Hell.
the void.
The 9 hells.
And the nine hells. A lot of those are hot.
Cora, I've spent 3 days looking at books. I don't know how you do it, but if you want any of the information that's contained in this, I suggest you hold on to it, and I'll look back at it later.
So, which one of these doors are we getting through? Because, I'm itching to kill some demons. I mean, we can just start banging on them. One of them's bound to open.
None of these books have any writing on them in Ignan, do they?
A few do.
Oh.
There are also history books or engineering books or magic books.
Cass wants to snag the engineering ones. And anything that involves alchemy.
We're gonna spend too long in this library.
We're spending too long.
Careful, we're already taking things. Look for things that seem like they have doubles.
I'll go start knocking on the doors.
Oh yeah, that journal definitely has a double.
Cass also wants to snag stuff that is the entire history of the Union, the rise of the Drow, and anything.
Encyclopedia Britannica, volumes 1 through 16.
That kind of stuff, so she can learn that she wants to learn the
I
history.
feel awful pillaging this place, but this is.
I mean,
such
who
a
else is going to be here? He raises a fair point.
I mean, he raises a fair point, yes, but there's.
A lot of this stuff could also be subject to burning. We need to salvage what is important.
So, you know those ladders that you have in the, like, really big libraries that move across?
Yeah, they have the
books?
wheels on them, and then they're fixed to the bookcases.
There is a figure at the top of one, squat, but they're there sorting books.
Like I'm like looking around, and just she says under her breath.
Oh, you.
Enhance, zoom.
That works.
Zoom and enhance.
What does the figure look like?
They're small. They probably weigh about 45 pounds. They have a kind of bronze complexion and a little tail.
Hello! He just calls up.
What are you yelling at?
You finally lost it, Cassandra?
Yeah, hold on.
There's someone up there.
Hi.
How long have they been there?
I just noticed them, but considering how...
Well, hold on. I can answer that question.
Better put that journal back, Cora.
And they begin, like, waddling down the stairs. So to answer your question, I've been here the whole time.
Sounds
In
about
the
right.
most literal sense.
I'm surprised we haven't noticed your ladder moving around.
I was going to say, that journal had.
You've seen this face.
Yeah.
Is it who I think it is?
It is Sir Galahad.
Correct, that's
Yes!
exactly what I thought.
Sir Galahad the Chronobold.
I've been waiting
He
a
has
very
not
long...
met him.
He is not.
No,
Caster has
Caster
not.
has not met the
I've been
boy.
waiting a very long time for you to show up.
Wait,
Fine.
You're almost late.
Sir Galahad?
Oh, if I'm not mistaken, I'm already dead. So
Ah.
don't sweat too much about it. I'm already dead. But this vault, yeah, we put this together. There's all kinds of stuff in here. This is the last desperate breath of the dying society. This is.
Cass walks up and
This is a kobold we
reaches
met
out.
last time we were here. His
Reaches
name is
out a
Galahad.
hand is
He's
like
an
a-
adept chronomancer.
like the
He has
shake.
since become her tutor. He sort of
Good
died
to
last
see you,
time
old
we were
friend.
here protecting
It's
us
good
from
to
a
see you
Neophyte.
too.
And it's
Yeah.
excellent
dragon
to
is
see
named
you
after him.
again.
He died
Mr.
saving us.
You should see
Chronomancer
me all the
bullshit,
time.
gotcha.
I do see you all the time, but outside of the liminal space we have, it's just nice to be reacquainted.
I mean, this is not entirely dissimilar space. And it's been sealed for, well, frankly, very good reasons. So, welcome. I see you've already helped yourselves to the useful goodies. Feel free to shove anything in a bag that looks like it might be useful. Nobody else is ever going to show up here. At least, not that I've recorded. Not that I have any more time to record at this point.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean?
Nope. He's dead.
I mean, yes, but that's clearly not stopping him at the moment.
That is a fair point. She raises a fair point.
That is.
There are only a few more timelines in which I will be present, and this is one of them. I've created a few mindscapes in which I am able to tutor her in the esotericies of chronomancy.
Oh, so that's why you lock yourself away for so long. Sometimes.
Actually, for you guys, it's instantaneous.
Oh.
Yeah, hers is the only experience where it takes longer than.
Fancy.
Excellent.
But we did a lot of interesting work here, me and Garrett and the remaining chronomancers, before we gave up on looking for extra time in the day to do work. Our desperation turned to previous eras in time to help us fight our more extraplanar foes. So, we turned to the demons and the devils. I mean, why not? Let's turn them loose, right?
It's turning out quite great.
Well,
Yes.
it was awful. It was a terrible idea.
Yes.
Frankly, it was maybe the worst idea I ever had. But at the time, it seemed great.
Understandable.
Isn't that what hindsight is? 20.
So, anyway, you open the door. That's good and bad. I mean, there's all kinds of neat stuff in here. The part of it that's bad is that in this building, there is a gate that ports back to the Proto-Abyss, the plane that was created after Asmodeus died, where all of the demons and devils spewed forth into before finding their way to the material plane. Hold on, don't speak yet. The reason why this is bad is because this is a period of time that predates the Blood War, which is to say that the demons and devils are still friends right now, which is great when you're trying to get them to work together and trying to create a cohesive force to stop an eldritch monstrosity from destroying the entire plane, is not so great when you realize that they're not going to take orders from you either. So we got a big old portal, lots of demons. Most of the remaining chronomancers died just sealing the vault. We created a big old cage of abjuration. It's very hard for them to leave. Only the strongest ones really can. Which means, if I'm not mistaken, hold on. He pulls out a journal and flips through a couple of pages of it.
Is it the same journal that she had?
No, different journal.
Okay.
So, you guys probably fought a couple of decently strengthed demons and devils on your way here, and
Yes.
probably a Baylor.
Definitely
Yeah.
Baylor.
So that's really the only type of stuff that can walk through the door. Everything else stays. That's why massive forces don't just spew forth into the world and destroy the entire thing. And then we sealed it behind a big honking door,
Which is open now.
which is now open. But the great thing is, you guys are here. So maybe you can seal the portal. Or, I don't know,
Seal the door.
negotiate. You're
Also-
great at that.
You could also seal the door again.
Is it possible to reseal the door?
Not without closing it forever. You see, we planned around a lot of contingencies with the expectation that certain timelines would have a terminus in some relatively grim locations. That would be one of them. You can close the door again, but it's not gonna open again.
I see.
It responded to my handprint. Did you
Well,
do
why
that?
wouldn't I program it with your hand in it?
Thank you.
That's convenient.
It is convenient. And it is the last convenience I have. There are no other such vaults in the world that are still active. At least none that I could reasonably grant you access to, without a very large bomb, or a big drill, or very powerful magic.
Those all sound right up my alley.
You
Except
mentioned
the magic.
something about free books.
Yeah, take all of them you want.
Are
They're-
you
I think we're owed this for what we're about to do.
okay? Yeah, sure.
So,
Anything you can stuff in a bag, you're free to it. No
Good.
one else will ever be here.
good thing we have a greater bag of holding.
You just start like scraping
Yeah,
bookshelves,
that's like when you go
shoveling
through a
books.
grocery
That's
aisle,
essentially
you
what
just-
she does. She like
She tries and fixes it, like slips it by in a bookshelf and just runs alongside the
Easy.
bookshelf.
That does have limited space.
The
There's a
size
lot
of this
things in it.
entire room is the size.
There's
And by
already a lot
volume.
of things in it, Cassandra.
Not enough to make it overflow.
You never know what else we'll need to put in the bag, Sandra.
We can take it out.
Cass, please.
No! And she's running along, continuing.
Last time we found ourselves in a temple, this motherfucker stuffed an entire suit of armor and a giant axe into it apropos of nothing.
I mean, it has, in terms of storage space, like a whole football stadium by volume.
Like Gillette Stadium. That's big.
That doesn't mean we can just go about willy-nilly stuffing it with everything.
Why not?
This
That's
is
what we
lost
did.
knowledge. We need this stuff.
Well, I don't know how much of it's lost. I guess that depends on your definition of lost, but yeah.
Listen, I understand you're not all that
I
fond of
that.
keeping libraries around, but this is important information to a lot of important people.
I'll leave you guys to that.
I wouldn't recommend sharing a lot of this stuff. A lot of this stuff provides insight onto how the timeline that you guys live in now
Oh,
exists.
yeah, no.
We did a lot of tampering with the time stream,
Oh.
namely opening that portal was probably a bad idea.
Honestly, books like that
Choice
probably
picks.
shouldn't leave here.
We take
Or
what
if they
we
do,
need,
Burn them.
and we leave the rest.
No. Put them
What?
all in, please.
Some of those books in the wrong hands.
The
should
ones
they
that-
get out?
The ones that we don't like, we burn. Simple as that.
No.
I would like to say that my namesake has a good point about the damage to the time stream, but frankly, I feel like our enemy transcends that sort of mundane problem.
Listen.
And I'm for the preservation of knowledge, if nothing else.
She is like standing there.
But it is worth keeping in mind that I will probably be the only one that survives any serious disturbances in time.
Thanks for the pep talk.
I mean, I'm just being
I know
honest.
you're speaking frank. It's just.
Look, you can. I will store them and read them responsibly.
So the only line of defense we have is, oh, I promise no one is gonna see them.
Do you?
How well has that worked out?
She's still running. I don't care. I don't care. We'll figure it out later. This
Anyway.
is stuff that we will need in the future.
Drollers walks towards the closest door and just waits by it.
Well, before you go about shoving everything into the bag, there's a couple things I'd like to get off the shelves first before they end up in your warping vortex of books in that
You
bag.
just need to think of what you need and it pops right out. That's how these bags work.
It is how they work.
Oh, I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah.
It's not like you have to go rooting around in a fucking football field.
That was exactly what I thought.
I require
no.
the mammoth tusk.
So it's like a Skyrim bag.
Yes.
Yeah.
Still, I want to grab the ones that are written in Ignan off the shelf before she shovels them into the bag.
Sure.
Take
So-
a pick, quick.
What is that, like 4 of them total?
In total, throughout the entire, well, how long do you look?
How many shelves are there?
A lot.
Hundreds.
A lot.
Oh, God.
I could help you with that. I have big zoom eyes.
You can't
What,
read
huh?
Look for anything that's written like this. And she holds one of the Ignan tomes up with
Got
the
it.
writing on it. If they're written in
Oh.
that, let me
This
know.
isn't even feeling
Do I
good.
need to roll a perception?
Yes.
She still doesn't speak it. That's not going to help
I'm
that
upset
much.
I didn't put on the boots.
New
so
feeling.
Oh no, being wowed by
12,
something like being like magic that I don't understand.
22.
There were that many.
22.
Okay. I need those.
There.
You're
and
shoveling
there.
everything into the bag anyway, Cassandra.
If I might.
You
think-
said you wanted them before I shoved them in.
I can't carry 22.
Into the bag they go. Just
I'll grab like 4 of them in particular that look like they might pertain in like specifically to my interest in, and then the rest go into
She's
the
like-
black hole.
So essentially what she's doing, like, on the ones that she can just run in, she runs, but then she gets on the ladder and like, push me! And like, just keeps doing
Whee!
that alongside.
So one of the books that you acquire is called The Principled History of Flame.
This might be what I need.
Interesting.
Nice.
Do either of the
Subtitle: controlled burn.
Do the titles of any of the 4 in particular, or like the fucking back of book, like summer synopsis notes that are
They've
there.
got the authors, like,
They've got
get to know the author.
Do either of those make specific reference to A, the Everburn family, or B, the Father of Fire? Or even tangential, like,
They
reference to-
probably make references to the Father of Fire at some point.
I'm matching somewhere. It's like, now
Actually,
here's the codex. Here's the codex of necromancy.
Here's the Codex Ignis. All of it. The rest of it. What
All
you
of
don't
it.
have is here.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. We did a lot of work. Mostly demons, though. Like, lots of demons.
Would you-
Oh my god, so many demons.
Would you be able to call anything
Here's the Codex Necronomicon.
written by or about the person
Here's the
Emlyn
Codex
Adrixia?
Hey, there's the Necronomicon.
I wouldn't know off the top of my head. Can you be a little bit more specific about who she is? I might
The
be able
trainer of Kalen Zistreth. Hermit.
to... Oh, gunsmith. I see. Maybe. Your guess is as good as mine, though. Not really a gunsmith.
That's fair.
As long as we're poaching entire libraries, I'm just gonna put a friendly reminder out there that I do have a doppelganger that has a penchant for burning them.
Well, I mean...
that's good that we're grabbing them. Take them away from her.
I mean, when I say that no one else will be here, I mean, so far as I have recorded time moving forward, nobody else will ever be here.
Meaning she could never get to them.
One other thing worth noting is that there's a reason for that.
Being.
Well, when we close the door again, this place disappears. And I don't mean that, like, oh, now we're somewhere else, or whoop.
It just vanishes from the time stream.
Nope. No. See, that would be the chronomancy answer. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your perspective, we also employed a large number of engineers. We employed a hybrid solution. It takes us to a localized time stream where nothing else exists, and then explodes.
The effect would be the same then.
Frankly,
How would that be the same?
The books are gone.
They would be destroyed.
I would like to think my doppelganger is a smart enough woman that should she find her way here, she would find the knowledge contained within these pages worth more than burning. So the result is not the same.
but I brought you.
You mentioned them that they have a penchant for burning,
Guys.
so
I'm
just confused. Sorry.
Guys.
I directed Cora here and brought you all here by extension for a reason. There is, I think, maybe, a possibility, considering the strange magics that surround you and the fact that I can't really read your futures accurately, or at all, frankly. So, like, before you study chronomancy, right, like, there's this thing where it's like, anything could happen, which is stupid. Like, that's the most naive thing I've ever heard. Especially once you're as experienced as me. And he, like, taps his staff on the ground a couple of times, and the whole room, like, flickers with magical energy. That's just shit. Like, there is a set order of events, and depending on the events preceding them, the events going forward become increasingly set in stone. You guys are different, and you're doing all kinds of fucking up the time stream as a result, which I guess is a good thing, because the predetermined time stream for this plane was fucked. So, I'm trying to get to in a roundabout way. If you wanted to surefire solve this problem, all you had to do was walk through the door and close it. I mean, that's it. It's over. It's done. There's a non-zero chance, however, that you can step through that portal and you can convince the forces on the other side of it to work with you. I mean, our enemy is really big and really bad. And I'm not just talking about the Eldritch ones. I mean, you got the Drow knocking on your door right now. And they hate demons and devils, like, a lot.
No.
And then Chuko pipes up and he's like, hold the phone.
Excuse me.
Oh, wait a minute.
You're talking about, hold on. You're telling me that you intended not only to employ the assistance of demons to fight some extraplanar threat, but you're suggesting that now we employ the use of demons to fight Drow.
He did say that much, yes.
Yes.
He is a very frank man.
Are you actually going to do this? Are you out of your minds? Are you out of your mind? And he, at 5'2", looks down on the 2'6" kobold. Probably one of the only times he'll ever get to look down on anyone. You are insane. Galahad looks up. Well, yeah, maybe, but what would you do? Not that.
You did say in retrospect it was a bad idea.
I mean, it was a bad idea.
We didn't have any better ideas. Look at us, we all died.
Well, except Garrett. Of course, I guess he has a penchant for getting away from death like that.
Well, he wasn't really one of us to begin with.
He's not just a chronomancer. I have a feeling Garrett is something of an everything-mancer.
If ever there was anyone who walked the plains and had a complete understanding of the arcane, it would be him.
Some choice questions.
Now, if
As near as omnipotent you can be.
Very close.
if we do,
I'm sure there are gods in this world that are far beneath him.
if we do decide to do this, not saying we are, but if we do, demons and devils tend to pledge their allegiance to those who prove their strength.
Devils, yes.
Devils do.
Demons are chaotic beings.
I mean,
Demons just as well can be ruled by fear.
Put enough pressure on demons.
demons will follow anyone who
They'll
lumps them
follow.
hard enough.
So, with that in mind,
I say again, are we really doing this? Like,
I-
is this what you brought me here for? Like, the Witherwhack, right? Like, the Knights of the Morning Dew, I brought my crew here literally, specifically to fight demons.
I want to point out...
Well, maybe not specifically.
I never said we are.
we
think
didn't even
employing-
know that this was a possibility.
No.
I think the employ of the demons is overall a poor decision. In the short term, yes, it may win us the war if we can successfully convince them to join us, which is a far-fetched thing, but not out of the realm of possibility, as Galahad has so eloquently explained. But in the long term, I think that allying ourselves with demons and devils would prove a very bad image for anyone that isn't us.
I mean,
Not just a bad image, it could risk them turning on us.
I mean,
that brings me to my point. Maintaining control could require a lot of pressure.
If you want
Pressure
to
that we
be...
can't afford to give.
If you want to be frank, allying yourself with anyone could mean they would betray you later. That is not exclusive to demons. and
But
devils.
we'd be allowing these entities to wander about the countryside and directing them to do war. Need I remind all of you of the substantial population of prisoners and slaves that make up the North? They wouldn't designate. They wouldn't.
Let
split
me
any
lay
hairs.
something down for you here. People don't like devils and demons.
I
If we
know.
win this war, the knighthood you guys are chasing after is probably going up in fucking flames, and will forever go down in history as the people who made a pact with some demons and devils to exterminate the drow.
you could always go from under,
Explain.
like underground.
Go
Where the drow come from?
attack their home.
I mean, that's the reason they're on the surface in the first place. They lost a really bad war. Let's just start another one. Force them on two fronts. I mean, either they're gonna retreat or they're gonna push into the south anyway, and they're gonna be fatigued from the war they're fighting underground. Nobody has to know we did it.
It seems like
Again, no. Like, this is awful.
that seems like a secret that could very easily get out and could still end disastrously, as Cora mentioned.
How easily could it get out? Who's going to
Are
leave a
you
bunch of
really
demons and
entertaining this
devils?
right now?
Look,
Do we just forsake our principles for because we can win? Like,
He's so flabbergasted, it's great.
I'm not saying we ally with them. That's horrid. That's abominable.
but you're just suggesting, oh, well, I mean, they're useful, right? Let's
Well,
put their
the-
axes and swords to war, like,
The thing is,
so that they can just indiscriminately murder everyone who's under drow employ who we have fought, or rather, the intention would be to free.
What do you have to say, Joel? Speak up.
now listen.
Now hear this.
Now hear this. I'm the one with the biggest muscles here.
Oh, and one more thing.
Oh, all right, listen here. We'll settle this.
That is not fair.
But no, just there's more than the drow that we're facing at the moment, and we need every help that we can get.
I'm going, for the record, I'm siding with Chuko here. This is an awful idea.
Yeah, I'm not exactly a hero or anything, but this seems like it could backfire tremendously.
Same. Even if we do use them to eliminate the drow, it would obliterate their entire populace, which is just a gross waste of life. And then we would have to deal with them fully on the surface and united.
This is not the first time we thought about using horrid weapons. The Arcanophage, its entire the entire point is behind it was to eradicate people.
It can be controlled to an extent.
It's gaseous.
No great weapon is truly under control.
What?
Nothing.
Okay.
Trust me, I would know better than anyone that no great weapon is truly under control.
You're talking about the difference between a weapon and an army, though.
I mean, it's a weapon all the same.
Whatever works.
Strictly speaking, an army is just a weapon of congealed of many other weapons.
You're talking about a weapon of united demons and devils we brought to the material plane.
Well.
You see how well it ended for Galahad.
Well, now.
Well, we're not like Galahad.
Well, you're not. That's true.
And
you aren't.
And I will say.
It has been stated that we don't exist within this timeline after a certain point.
And with what we're facing, we're going to need a lot of bodies.
But
I don't like the bodies we're proposing.
I don't
Who's
either.
to say that a physical army could hurt what we're going to fight?
I mean, wouldn't you have to operate under that assumption? Otherwise, you're screwed.
We're physical.
Hold on.
Do we need to ascend to divinity?
No, I just need answers, right? Like, what is so much worse than the drow that this is a conversation at all? That wasn't just like, oh, we can get rid of all the demons? Let's go back through the door then. Let's get rid of all the demons.
Should we tell them?
Like, what the fuck is going on?
I see no reason not to.
There is a
Polish.
extra planar being that is able to consume planes that is headed right here.
Why do you believe that? That sounds
Because
like
we've seen it with our own eyes, Chuko. All of us have.
Some of us have gotten a little closer with it than we'd like.
It's true.
We are facing the embodiment of
So-
entropy.
So why aren't we mobilizing everybody?
Because-
Why don't we send a missive to the drow and be like, hey, look.
Because
No one will believe us
one,
for that matter.
your reaction exactly that just happened, and two, it has eyes and ears and servants sprinkled everywhere.
Much like the drow, except way worse.
And who's to say the drow aren't working with it in the first place?
And I know for a fact, because of something it said to me, a lot of the upper echelons of drow society did not get there unaided.
Garrett Reed, the wizard that Galahad mentioned, the one that could dwarf the power of some gods,
Yeah,
he's
that's
afraid of that.
that's bullshit in the first place. All right, that's trash.
It
But
is not trash. We've encountered him personally. I know you don't know us.
I don't care, right? Like, he's just a dude. You haven't met any gods.
He is more than just a man.
I believe that. You're more than just normal people. She's half fucking plant. Your legs are mechanical. Her arm's mechanical. She's got a magical eye. She wields a frankly tremendously frightening sword. You are bearing the mantle of the god of mountains and volcanism while wielding the axe of Safe. Like, I get it. You're not normal people. She is the strongest pyromancer probably alive. That doesn't make you stronger than gods, and it doesn't make him stronger than a god either. Yes, well, your religious arrogance aside, we are fighting a real problem.
Oh, damn. Also, I will say, out of character, I'm loving his Boston accents. So.
Yeah, his accent is my favorite.
He didn't have it. He's very flustered. It's his hometown accent.
It's his hometown accent.
It's like when he gets really angry, it comes out, it seeps through.
We didn't even just get removed from the time stream though when we talked with Garrett. Like we got removed from the threads of the plane.
We got removed from the threads of fate.
Yes.
The little things that they pulled, we don't have those anymore.
Yeah. Those aren't us.
In any case.
The sword of cost speaks to you.
Oh God.
Yeah, sure. Get him in on this. There's not enough voices.
No, that wasn't my concern. But
No.
everything
Now
that
Amy
Koss
gets
says,
to talk in 3 voices.
everything that Koss says to me is like,
4.
okay.
We
Shit.
could always claim their souls. I detest necromancy.
Whack.
Demonology is probably a close second, third, fourth. Maybe it's somewhere on that list.
But it's after necromancy.
But
It's not number 1.
we could kill them. Like we could just do that afterwards.
I feel as though going into the primordial abyss and killing.
Why don't you go and kill Asmodeus yourself?
I feel like that would have horrendous horrendous after effects on the entire time stream.
I mean, nobody knows who killed him or how he died. It could always be you. Contain the soul within the blade. I don't know how long I'll last after that, but you would have the entirety of demonkind contained within this blade for a short while.
Koss, I may be a theurge of some respect, but even I'm not strong enough to kill it. No one, I don't think, is strong enough to kill a primordial.
You offend
To
me.
kill a titan.
We show up right before he dies and just claim the killing blow.
I was just like,
Kill, steal, motherfucker!
you offend me.
Like, whoever actually kills him just gets a little thing on the screen like, assist. It's a little hit marker.
Cora, like, lowers her head and just... I'll think about it.
What we need to do now.
It is a possibility.
I know.
What we need to do now is get out of this library.
But
And I'm getting tired of it already.
I'm going to spend as much as I can getting all the information I can, so you can stand guard.
Yeah, and I've got some books to look through as well.
if that is on the table, and I'm not saying this because I'm greedy, we're going to need a lot more souls. We draw strength from them, whether you find truth in that or not.
Can you draw strength in them?
You do too. You wield me, and whether you believe it or not, you worship a god of passing. Souls are your strength.
I worship someone who gets them where they need to go.
And who carries them there? You hold on to souls more than others do. Your religion is based upon this principle. You draw strength from the act of people dying, and so do I. There's very little difference between those two things.
Drollish once said fuck you to her one time.
You need to stop being principled and become pragmatic, or your enemies will destroy you.
She takes her hand off the sword of Goss.
Our best bet long term is likely to just seal the vault, take what we can from here, and let it be obliterated.
I mean, whatever works. You're the guys who would know what'll work.
And at the very least, I want to look around.
I do too.
All of the after that short conversation she had with Koss, all of the giddiness has drained from her.
So what is this room like? How is this layout wise? Because I get we were in a big ass fucking.
It's like a big octagonal room.
Yeah, and there was a bunch of bookshelves and shit. But you said there was a bunch of doors also, right?
Yep, there's a door north, east, and west.
So there's the one, not including the one we came in, and there's 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
One of those probably leads to the gate.
What
What do the other two lead to, though?
So Galahad.
Other laboratories.
Oh, yes.
what direction is the gate?
North.
Thank you.
Well, I will not be going. And
Is
she
that the
heads
one
to
that doesn't have a panel?
None of them do.
Fire goes to the west.
What are
door.
east and west then?
Lots of different research. More mechanical research. And then a fair amount of chronomancy research. My personal laboratory is a decent way down on the east.
Can we go east?
I was gonna go west, but
We
we don't have to stay together.
The demons appear to be contained within the north, at least for the time being. We have a small amount of time that we can investigate.
It's not the first time I've killed a big beastie on my own. Won't be the last.
I hate to barge in. Why not use the demons?
It's a matter of ethics, mostly.
And a matter of the
Most
fact that
living
we would have
things
to
on this-
deal with them after.
Most living things on this plane find them detestable, and on the rare chance that we do successfully enlist their help and they help us win this war, what do we do with them then?
The same thing we do with demons that we've always done. Kill them.
That'll
And-
be a lot of demons.
That would be a lot of demons. They would leave no survivors in their wake, and not everyone in the north is committed to the Empress.
I mean,
But
that doesn't sound like our problem, does it? Do you think they're going to spare you when they come down here just because of your complexion and the pointed shape of your ears?
no,
Really?
I don't.
I just find it suspect is all, that we have weapons in front of us and yet the question of ethics comes up all the time. You're a strong proponent of them, which I can respect, to a certain extent.
Are you really calling my loyalty into question?
Why wouldn't I? You're the one who would survive a conflict like this, or at least it seems that that is a likely belief to have. And I'm also gonna say this, like, I hate demons. Just had like half my bones shattered, right? My men died. But what am I gonna do? Am I really going to survive in a world with a drow pushed south? I'm not. Not only will my way of life disappear, but that's assuming I survived the conflict in the first place.
I don't want, Captain, I don't want the life that I have come to know, and the people that I have come to care about, and
You may not want those things, but you'll survive, won't you?
No, I won't. The North knows me.
The fact that she's even allied herself for this length of time would probably make her not sit on very nice terms with the rest of the drow.
That and my sister, who knows that I'm down here, is very well connected and an intelligence. And she was working as a liaison, last I heard. So, my name's probably been passed around now.
So we're just leaving the demons here then.
And
Galahad did say we walk out the door, shut it, and they don't have any means of escaping.
And
It's
and-
an
go
sorry.
on, go on.
It's an entire army we just don't have to deal with anymore.
And I want to say this, there would be probably very bad effects, not when the demons killed things, but when they died. We're talking about we're talking about beings removed from time, removed from their proper place. Far-reaching effects could be catastrophic.
Well, we did have a solution for that.
Of course you did.
Well,
I mean, I think of everything.
barely functioning one. Come this way. And he begins, like, walking towards the door eastward. And as he walks towards the door, he just thwacks it with his staff, and the door, like, disappears.
Now, where have I seen that before?
that?
Yeah, it's a neat trick I picked up from a friend of mine. Let's go.
Is that how they all work? Or?
No, they have a mechanism, but why am I gonna wait for the giant 30-ton door to move?
An entire army.
Alright, yeah, lead the way.
So, he leads you guys a ways down this hall. It's got tons of doors on it that each lead into, like, laboratories with, like, big tanks and demons floating in them and, like, all kinds of just eclectic shit thrown about, paper on the floors. Looks like people just scrambled through these hallways at some point. Yeah, we all left in a hurry. Well, everybody except me. Man, I really miss what food tastes like. But
Oh, I can't
We-
taste anything.
you see any food around here?
Pulls out
No.
some jerky. I can have
He
some.
is dead.
Not right now.
He is dead.
Well, no, I mean, technically I'm alive, but I'm dead. Like, look, it's complicated.
Chronomancy.
The solution that we had, and he walks into one laboratory where there's a demon floating there, and they've got this, like, number of blades just stabbed into them. They look like a fucking tarot card. And
Like a fucking voodoo doll.
yeah. But he goes over to a counter and he flips through a couple of pages. He's like, we didn't have a functioning name for them, but a couple of people called them rune blades, a couple of people called them soul blades, that kind of thing. They're swords that hold souls. So they're great, because when you got a whole army of demons that shouldn't be here, like, they're not from this time stream, you just send in a lot of guys with these. And just let it work itself out.
Is one of them Soul Edge? The other Soul Caliber?
And then once you've got all of them, like once you've contained the outbreak, basically you just go and destroy all the swords.
You
It's like a plane full of souls that just disappears.
you make one of those? You make those yourself?
No. Do I look like a smith to you? I'm 2'6".
No, I did not mean that, Master.
Those are very lovely blades.
I mean, they're neat, but what?
Do you need the name of the person that you asked me about earlier?
What about it?
Do you need it?
You can give it to me.
Yeah, let me.
Did he lead us through the east door or the west door?
East door.
We went west.
We went west. West. What kind of compass are you looking at, lad?
The J is pronounced like a Y. If I remember.
Where am I looking?
The circle.
Oh, east? I thought you said west.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had a couple of clever guys come on through who had these ideas. Their allegiance to the Drow was complicated. They produced these weapons for an unrelated purpose, but they were equally as effective at doing this. So we co-opted the technology. Well, it's not really technology, it's magic.
So,
But
in the event we do bring this army of demons and devils into the material plane, we let them unleash havoc upon the Drow when we use them to win the war.
you just make a ton of these. You
Just
just
use
give
these.
your guys these. I
And
mean, you
then-
still have to be strong enough to win.
And then you sweep in with the cleanup crew.
I mean, again, what would you do?
Not that.
Well, we didn't either.
Cass is looking at the body of like the demon that's all stabbed in. What does the body look like? Do they have gaunt features?
I will show you what they look like.
Okay.
Should I turn on the TV?
No. I said
This
no.
This is exciting.
Caster takes hold of one of the swords.
Drill's just.
It's in a tank.
It's a tank game.
Well, is there one out?
There are the shattered remains of
Droll
one
just
on
fucking-
the table.
Broke.
Driller shakes your fucking axe and just. Why?
I want a sword.
Sword.
Just so many memories flooding back. Oh
Does
my god.
the sword have to remain in the demon for them to work?
No. We were just testing how the souls transfer and
What's
like
wrong with this?
how it all works really.
Does
Oh,
the head, like the display in my suit, does it does it show anything about the swords? Do the swords have a faint glow to them?
Huh?
Do the swords have a magical glow to them that are shoved inside the demon?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would imagine, considering they're magical swords.
You know, that's a fair point.
I didn't want to say anything,
Just
but now that Tattoo did, what the fuck kind of question was that, Matt?
you should have said something so I didn't continue to look like an idiot.
I thought you were used to it.
Yeah, I am. But I also like it when
Amy.
Demon.
Damon.
Oh.
Dable.
Oh.
Not Dable. Damon.
That's a dembo.
Devil.
It's a big old. That's
Devil don't have wing.
That's a demon devil. Whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, this is before the distinction exists. Abyssals? Sure. I mean, the devils don't come from the. It doesn't. I mean, again, it predates the existence of such meaningless terminology.
Ancient fuckwad that's now dead. That's all we need to worry about.
I mean, but there are a lot of old fucks who aren't dead. I'm still here. Well, kind of.
Whatever.
Your simple mind is very difficult to impress upon the necessity of these distinctions. Anyways.
How do you like getting talked down to by a 2-foot tall kobold?
Well, I mean, problem is she's never
Devil. No,
dealt with
not
these things
devil,
before.
demon.
She's dealt with humans
I
and
know.
other orcs.
Pirates
I know, it's
talks
just
down to
funny
her,
that
and she could choke slam her
the
with her
little
bicep.
kobold is like saying, "Well,
Is it
your
just
stupid ass
lounging
brain."
Your dumb brain.
Freaking just Joel just looks
Fucking
down. and
stupid
just,
little meat brain.
well, I mean,
Both Pyra and Korra have talked down to Drolish, and Pyra is stronger than Korra is, which is bad. Don't you have a +0 to strength?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pyra's stronger than Korra is.
oh
I
no.
thought you were talking about just in general rates of power.
Oh no.
Drolish-
She's definitely stronger in terms of like arcane
He's very
abilities.
simple-minded
I
because
feel like
she
it's
never had a
it's
reason.
high.
Because
She's dumb because she never had a reason to be smart.
correct.
She just needed to hit things and kill them.
The implications of a demon army are still frightening and detestable, but I could see the merit.
I mean, there was great demand for a large number of strong soldiers.
Or they don't just come waltzing through.
I have a question, friend.
Yeah.
Is there any? Oh God.
Oh, you got the
Oh,
throat
God.
bubble.
Throat
The
bubble.
throat bubble. It's the
Uh,
worst.
Do you remember anyone with the name Lyndall Pyregard?
I'm sure that name appears in history somewhere.
During the Union time, specifically during the war.
She was dispatched to search. She said she was looking for something in this world.
I know it's not entirely related to what we were talking about. It just popped into my head.
She said she was tasked with defending a weapon, but she was never told what exactly the weapon was.
What else did she tell you?
That she's not from
She
this time.
failed.
I don't. You're telling me she was tasked with defending this vault?
She said she was tasked with defending a weapon, but was not given specific details or very much information at all about
But
what.
here, like this location.
She was
Yes.
around here, yes. Recently.
Relative.
No. He's talking about like in her time when she
Oh.
was in the Union, and I don't think it was here when she was in the Union.
I mean,
Because this wasn't blasted when she was in her timeline. This was.
right, but this was built before the Union was destroyed.
Oh. Yeah, it might have been here. I don't remember that part of the conversation.
She did not give specifics, but she was here recently.
She seemed familiar with the terrain. I think.
Lyndall Pyregard, war pick, shield.
No part of our security detail involved anyone named Lyndall Pyregard. In fact, nobody here was muscle. We were all,
Brains.
well, it kind of reaches a point where it's functionally the same thing. I mean, what is she gonna do to me?
Thank you.
You do.
You're
reach
welcome
a point,
to try.
You do reach a point where brains directly translates to brawn.
I understand. I'm not saying that's not the case. I'm just saying that's what she was here.
It said, she said that she was after.
She wasn't after anything. She was guarding something during the time of the war. She failed, and now she's here.
What
in
all-
this timeline.
What all
It's
did you
part of the
tell her?
I told her of our mutual fiend.
Using vague terms.
Not
very-
vague.
not
we,
very
we,
visual.
We didn't name
blatant.
him. We didn't name him.
This was not.
I named him.
Oh, you did. Oh, okay.
This was not the first time we had encountered her, though.
Second time.
Strange indeed.
The first time.
It seems she had already been, at the very least, versed with Azathoth's monstrosities,
Please.
encountering creatures that.
Names have power.
There was a
the
temple
power
of safe around here at some point. It's possible that it's related to that, but I mean, they're not really warmongers.
No, but it said that she said that that the weapon that she was tasked with defending was catastrophic.
There's a lot of that in here.
This is catastrophic for sure.
I mean,
She did specifically say that the man. Oh fuck! What did I say? The mandate that she was left, or like what she like heard about it, was in the event. It was likely that they were going to win the war, but in the event that they didn't, this was going to like.
Obliterate the drow.
Yes,
but we had
basically that.
We had no plans of ever using this against the drow. This wasn't for that purpose. I mean, we're welcome to co-opt it for that purpose in the modern day. No, we are not. Aside from your friend's
So if she
religious
wasn't referring
hang-ups.
to the vault, what was she referring to?
That's a very good question.
Isn't there one city deep within Drow territory?
I would like to make a point. It hasn't seemed like terribly relevant information until now because I felt like there were plausible circumstances under which this could happen, but she's like us.
is she?
Where you don't have the strings of fate attached.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's very worrisome.
That is worrisome.
She's claimed to never have interacted with Garrett Reed nor known his name, so that begs the question.
No,
Well-
she interacted with Garrett. He saved her life.
Yeah, that
What?
seems
Oh, in the temple?
Yes.
Oh, I forgot.
plausible, but at that point I would have been able to catalog her name. I have a catalog of everyone Garrett's ever met. At least in this plane.
Where we were wasn't necessarily within the plane.
Per
because
what
it's
they've said, he definitely showed up in the temple.
We had initially
You were
encountered him in
there
a-
too.
I forgot, Cora. It's kind of what I do.
We had initially encountered him in a rather confusing space of the shadows making underneath the temple in Drolish's home city. We were sent down there to eliminate an evil that had been wiping out a number of their population anytime that they had sent anyone down there to deal with the threat, and to spare Drolish's life from her causing a civil war, we were to deal with it.
And we dealt with it.
And down there we met Lyndall. And some monstrosities.
And Garrett.
And Garrett again.
And I killed a star.
I killed the big beastie.
This bodes ill indeed.
Do you think she might be one of his servants? Its servants.
I mean, that's hard to say.
But we do know she's directly related to this somehow now. She's tied into
Fought
this.
for her
If you
life
s-
in the temple.
If you say that Garrett saved her life, I'm willing to believe that. Keep in mind, my knowledge is limited. This is a closed time curvature in which I am enabled to continue existing. There's only so much inflow of information.
Cora, you're the one that saved her life. He did nothing for her.
No,
I mean,
she stated that with Garrett's help, she survived. Her help, without her help, she would have definitely died. But with her assistance, Garrett was able to save her.
it's
That was the sword actually rubbing against the floor.
Oh.
the
Pyra goes over to like the desk where the shattered remains of the sword are and picks up like one of the shards of it.
You're welcome to take them. They're free. Souvenir.
Well,
Cass looks at the make. What does the make look like of these swords?
I guess we can see
like,
what
do
I
they
can do with
look
those
like
pieces,
they're
huh?
from this part of the world?
They do not. They are foreign.
Droller
I'm really
takes
excited
the
about
pieces
that.
and puts them into her own bag.
Cassandra, the bag, please.
Be careful, it's heavy. It's weightless.
It's not weightless. It doesn't
It's
have
not
a weight.
weightless. It's 60 pounds.
Yeah, it is 60 pounds.
It's heavy enough that I can't carry it, actually. With my carry weight right now, actually.
I'm going to reach into the bag and try to pull out a book related to any temples of safe in this area during that time.
If one
I mean,
exists.
you would have had to spend the time to catalog these books.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just be like, I need X.
Fetch me the book!
I
Right.
need the book
The
that
book.
is general information about this thing.
Right, you need to be able to.
There's
name.
no search function. You're
Damn
just
it.
looking at a scrolling
Hey.
HUD of book
Wait, no, I can't.
catalogs.
So now,
You
And
say
you have to scroll through.
you just say temples of safe. 50 books pop out. Well, shit.
now.
Why do you
like
think?
a book shotgun, just like.
Why do you think I
So-
wanted the 4 specific books that were written in Ignan before she just? I don't know what's in the bag now.
So,
There's like 18 more in there that are written in Ignan.
you're gonna need to get back to the keep and have somebody sort through these
We
and make an
have-
index for you.
Page.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir. I shall sort through this.
How did you get here?
Most meticulously.
anyway, now that we do have an idea, a failsafe, I suppose you can call it.
I mean, keep
To
in
take
mind, right? You're
care
still
of
gonna
these
need a lot of
demons.
people to kill a lot of demons.
We
I'll
have-
happily kill demons, alright? But I'm not volunteering to put more demons into the world to kill. This isn't like a sport, right? It's not like, oh, let's go on the demon Serengeti! This is bullshit.
Serengeti, huh?
The Serengeti exists?
I fucking love Chuko's voice so much. Nah, this is bullshit.
Anyway,
Do you know who I am?
I wish he talked
brother-
like the fucking Godfather.
I heard
On the day of my daughter's birthday.
as we've seen,
No, it was
demons
wedding,
and
wasn't it?
devils bleed like anyone else. However, I am agreeing with you here. But that begs the question, what do we do now that we have this information? Do we
don't-
continue to pursue these demons,
Let's.
or leave it alone?
I don't fully know that I agree, actually. Galahad may have a point.
I mean, it was our best option at the time.
The pragmatic uses are evident.
The pragmatic drawbacks are also evident. We have to deal with demons and devils.
And
Like we don't already have to deal with them in our own time.
There's
Not
a
in these
big
numbers.
There's a big difference between outsiders being summoned in or finding their way to the material plane by way of either the Underdark or whatever dark hole they crawl out of, but and an entire genocidal army bent north. This is not happening, or at the very least, I will have no part of it.
You're
And who's to
talking
say
about
when
the
the
difference.
army will stop emerging. Who's to say what limit there is to their numbers? Who's to say they won't cover the fucking plane?
When you close the door.
There would still have to be someone alive posted at the door to close it.
I don't feel like that wouldn't be terribly hard.
The only problem is you're gonna have to deal with whatever you put in the world, but you can always open the door and close it. I mean, then there's no more. Then you just have to stop the demons that are there.
You're talking about the moral dilemma of enlisting the aid of an army of demons and devils and winning a war versus potentially losing our entire way of life as not only the Drow, but the Red Hand and whatever monstrosities that entity has in store for us sweep through everything we know and care about. I don't think moral dilemmas should be our priority.
So, in theory, right, like, we let the demons out, we let out just enough of them. Not too little, not too much, not too hot, not too cold. Just the fucking Goldilocks amount of demons, right? And then we close the door, and then what? Who do we round up to go and kill all of the demons? Like, it's not a zero-sum game, man. Like, when two armies fight, it doesn't just like, oh, that was the perfect amount. The last two guys stabbed each other with their swords, and it's over. Like, either the Drow win or the demons win, and regardless of the severity of that victory, like, we're left with something. If we're trying to crust your Drow, then we're gonna be left with more demons than Drow when it's over. Like, what do you do then? Like, what's the exit stratagem? Do you mobilize the entire human kingdoms? First of all, they're not gonna go for that shit. Like, they're gonna want to know why you have that information, which is a hard enough question to answer. And secondly, even if you got the approval of the entire remnants of the Union to go to war with the demons in the north that somehow you've intuited are there, like, what? Are we gonna win? Like, our odds aren't good. The sad part is that people like me should be more common and aren't. Like, elite soldiers who can go out and do this type of stuff, weird fucks who can sleep 4 hours a day and then just ward off evil for the remaining 20. We're not normal. Do you know what the majority of people's armies are made out of? Fucking peasants. Peasants and levies. And do you know what they're gonna do when they're fighting demons? When they're fighting drow for their home, they'll defend it. Alright? Because that's their home. That's their farms, their families, their kids, their cows, and all their other shit. Do you know what they're gonna do when they're gonna fight demons? They're gonna die or turn into cultists.
This is me as a person speaking from a place of ignorance because I don't know that much about demons and devils. How closely related to the arcane are they?
Very.
Very,
very.
incredible.
What if we nuke the drow with the devils and unleash the arcanophage on them?
That's big brain plays right there, gamers. That's a pro gamer move.
That's a pro gamer move.
That'd work.
That would solve all of our problems, you know?
I didn't say it in character, but thanks, now I will, because I know everyone likes it. We do have a magical virus in our back pockets. If we overtake the drow kingdoms with the demons and the devils we've enlisted, we unleash the arcanophage on them afterwards.
At the end of the day, it's still indiscriminate murder. Like,
that's going to be the case no matter what, Chuko.
You're talking about war.
No, it isn't. If we go to war, it's not total war. We don't just kill everyone in shackles.
If we use the arcanophage, it will.
Okay, but we weren't planning on using the arcanophage on the fucking... We were planning to use it defensively, from my understanding. We were planning to use it to keep our home safe. Now you're talking about using it offensively. A weapon which is indiscriminate and will kill innocent people as quickly as it will kill anyone else. So sure, great. We've killed the Empress of the Drow. Do you know what else we did? We killed a slave population numbering in the millions who had never done anything wrong in their entire fucking lives but be in the wrong place at the wrong time or be born to the wrong parents. So now we've got chain gangs hundreds of miles long just filled with corpses. Congratulations, hero!
As much as I admire the efficacy of your solution, it would be still indiscriminate slaughter. And I didn't realize that the plan with the arcanophage had shifted.
We were talking about using it to win a war, Cora.
The war with the red hand. The war with the red hand.
Then we found out they were fucking working together.
They have a valid point. I mean, we really just need to find functional solutions at this point.
The red hand is just a scapegoat. It's just a proxy to start a war.
It's just a proxy to...
That's what I just said. It's a proxy to start the war again.
It's not...
That's what I heard. That's what it is. Are you telling me that I just misheard?
No.
I listened to one of my best friends betraying us!
We have a potential solution sitting right in our laps, Cora. We don't get that many. Opportunities aren't endless. You're a chronomancer, you know that.
Are easy answers right answers?
No, they aren't.
I wouldn't call this an easy answer. It's still a
It's
dilemma.
only hard because it's difficult to push the button when you're killing thousands of people. It's easy because it solves the problem in a way where you don't have to be next to it. Where you don't have to go and put your life on the line again.
There is always a right way to do something. This isn't right.
Is there a right way to do everything, Cora? Because if there's a right way to do everything, I want to know what the right way to get my eyes back is. So that I don't have to live every moment in this waking nightmare of possibilities. I want to know what the right way was to have never lost my eyes in the first place.
I like to think Drola Chapter, as all this heated argument's happening, she's just kind of, okay, we're gonna be here for it. And just sharpening her axe.
We're gonna be having an
Alright.
intervention for a hot minute.
Alright, there. Let it out.
Galahad, the right way. The right way was I shouldn't have fucked up.
Why do you care about morals anyway? You're so far removed from any of this. Like, at the end of the day, is Shireen really going to be the one to save you, or is it going to be your own magic?
I'm only... It's only by her grace that I can even do some of these things.
Are you sure about that? Of what use to you is your faith now?
It has...
It provides you a weak sense of comfort.
It doesn't provide me a weak sense of comfort. God damn it! If I didn't have my faith, I wouldn't be sitting here! The only reason I'm down here, the only reason I'm still alive, is because I was picked up by a boat that thought I was picked up by a boat, and a particular person on that boat thought that I was more. Thought that I could be more than...
And look at how much more you've become, but that has nothing to do with religion. And you know that. You're way smart enough to know that.
It's not...
Your faith is ludicrous, and by extension, so are your morals.
So, I like to think we all got a little off topic, didn't we?
Not
no.
necessarily, no.
Because the answer is no, we're not releasing demons. Just like, again, like demons. Like, I kill them every day. For 20 hours a day.
I know. We all know. I want to say something.
I eat demons for breakfast.
You eat pieces of shit for breakfast?
No.
No. It's like a metaphor.
Galahad, I want to say something, and I want you to listen to me, and I want you to understand me very clearly. The things that I believe are not limiters. My faith and my morals are not my weakness. They are strength.
We have work to do. We have lives to save. A whole plane to bring back from the brink of destruction.
And we are not doing it like this.
By any means necessary is a code of efficacy over ethics.
And it's not right.
Why not? How many choices are we going to get to make? How many times are we going to get to be like, oh, well, we'll take the good guy option. Do you really think that this is how this is all going to shake out? That every turn we go through this entire adventure that we're going to have the ability to make the right decision where everybody gets to go home to their families and nobody's maimed, nobody ends up blind, nobody ends up missing an arm, nobody ends up losing both of their legs. Nobody dies.
Right now, it sounds to me like the good guy option is getting rolled over by the drow. Faith's name in the stars won't mean shit. Your faith won't mean shit, Cora.
That's no. Absolutely not.
Like
I'm not going to be a part of this solution because it's not a solution.
It certainly sounds like one.
It sounds like one because you're not thinking about the bigger picture.
So what is your alternative?
We find another way.
So you don't have one?
No, I don't have one.
When will you? When thousands more have died? When Azathoth is at our front door?
What I would like to believe is...
What you'd like to believe is that another perfect opportunity...
No, I don't believe another perfect opportunity. I don't believe another perfect opportunity like this will pop up because I'm not stupid. I don't think that there's just going to be some magic solution where everybody gets to go home.
No, but you think there will be one where you can...
No, but I think that this is nuts. I think that this is entirely removed from all sorts and modicum of sense.
How far removed are you from the gods you believe in, Cora? Because I don't think it's that far. I don't think anyone in this room is that far removed from the gods. I would second that motion. I would second that. But I know a lot more than you guys do about gods, so that's worth noting. What the fuck do you know more than me about gods?
There it is.
I've
There
never
it is.
needed gods to stand
There
by
it
me.
is.
I've made it through the grit of my own teeth and my own elbow grease.
But there is an easy way to do things, and this is very easy.
Is it easy?
No, it's not.
It sure seems that way.
It's
Or at least
easy.
it's easy for you.
It's easy in the terms of.
Because we win.
It's easy in the terms of us winning.
Sir Galahad,
Yeah.
what exactly was your intention on using the demons to fight Azathoth for? How
It's
would
an-
that work out?
It's an endless force of violence that just is never satiated.
And physically, how does that happen? Does Azathoth invade with an army? Is there a physical force that they would be fighting?
There's some amount of physicality, yeah. It would bait back a large portion of the darkness and probably would have given us time to find other solutions if we didn't find ourselves destroyed before then.
This raises another question then. I'm not saying we are, but say we release the demons. Say we wipe out the Drow and the Red Hand and every threat to the remnants of the Union with them. The demons just kind of stay in the north because they decided to fuck off from obliterating the rest of the universe because everything turned out perfect. How long do we have to sit there with demons on our northern border before Azathoth shows up and we can complete the plan? What if they get bored? What if they march south?
Well, that's why we had engineers here.
What?
Come with me.
Cass looks at all the other remnants of that sword and puts them in the bag.
Oh no, Jolis already got that. She got,
Yep.
She got one.
No,
she got all of them.
no, swooped all of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
They
we
got
got
the bag?
those.
Her
They're in
bag.
her bag.
Her bag.
We
Can I
got
have
those.
them?
Why?
I want to study them.
Not now though.
Not now, but in the future.
I can see what I can do. in a
Take them from her.
14 report.
Stance.
Cora looks at Galahad, and just has this just pained face, and she turns away and just says, "We'll talk more about this later." And as she's walking away, if any of you are looking at Cora, she kind of just she wipes her eyes.
So we're talking more about this now, not later, right? Because
Oh
I
yeah,
really
no,
think have time.
we just gotta go to the other
Room?
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I
The
guess
last
we'll
way.
fill her in.
well, you guys walk from the east to the west where the engineering is, and they open the other door, and this is less like rows and rows of doors and one small hallway with 4 doors. Each one of them is a small laboratory, and then at the end of them it opens into a very large cylindrical antechamber. Again, football field is a rough comparison to the size of this room. And he takes you into this large cylindrical antechamber, and in it is this pillar of metal and steel, which has these umbilicals that connect it to the walls and the floor and everything else. And he's like, we were working on this. This was our solution.
What is it, suck demons into it or something?
No. We fill the whole world with demons, we cut our losses, and we put everyone on this and find somewhere else to live.
What?
Oh, so plane hopping.
No.
No?
No. This is a really big rocket.
So planet hopping.
Yeah.
Life in the stars.
It was a possibility that we juggled around for a while. We were looking for pragmatic ways to displace large numbers of people. We tried, demi-planes, which this rocket is experimental. It has a permanent demi-plane inside of it. It should hold a couple of thousand people. We figured we'd just build several of these Methuselah ships, and they'd end up being kind of their own ecosystems. Eventually one would find a planet, and it would signal to the rest across all of space and time.
While what happened to the people left behind?
They died. Acceptable losses.
Survival of the rest of the people.
Survival of the first one on board.
Needs of the many.
It's not a needs of the many thing. Well, I guess it was, but it was literally a case of, here's a rocket, first one on gets to leave. Like, and, you know, once we're at capacity, goodbye, adios. Like, no more chances. You just die here with the demons. We were perfectly willing to sacrifice all of Rivera. We were perfectly willing to sacrifice a lot more than this to win, but we just couldn't. Things happened too quickly.
The thing that this whole complex is in right now happened.
No, it's not just the demons. Like, things just
No,
happen.
I mean like the scar. That's
Yeah.
what I'm referring to.
The war was accelerated. There were people other chronomancers who believed that it would end quickly, it would end violently, and then there were people like myself that believed it would be a more protracted skirmish, so I laid longer set plans, and I was wrong. And the painful irony of all of that is I am the only one left now.
Do you have the schematic for this thing?
They're around here somewhere. Probably in one of the books you took. But I mean...
I'm going to do a quick search around.
We're missing a lot of the means to make these things anymore, and even if we could make them, what's the plan? Are we really going to try and evacuate the entire plane?
No.
Or rather, the entire planet? And then what? I mean, then where do you go? What do you do? I mean, we didn't have those things figured out, right? I mean, there were just plans.
It's just to jump into the unknown.
It was just a necessity. And 1,000 people's not enough. Like, it's not. Unless it's...
That's why you were going to build multiple, as you said.
Well, right. But I mean, 1,000 people's not enough on its own. Like, as an insular community, it won't last. There's not enough genetic diversity. Eventually, you'll reach a point of inbreeding, and people just die. Like, the whole... And we couldn't make the planes any bigger. Like, we're not...
You're not miracle workers.
We were the brightest of our kind, but we couldn't do any better than that. And that's the thing. This was a dead end. I mean, this just gave us more time. Like, hurrah, we won! We saved the rest of the entire planescape, and the only thing it cost us was our lives. But we failed even at that. So now, me and Garrett, or rather, what's left of me, have tried to figure out how to solve this problem in a way that saves Rivera, or at the very least, in spite of all of my just catastrophic fuck-ups, saves the rest of the planes.
Excellent.
This might just be my ignorance of how chronomancy functions. How did you not see this coming?
We see many potential timelines. Chronomancy...
It's like, imagine, if you would, a series of pipes.
A series of tubes.
The internet's a series of tubes.
Imagine, if you will, a series of pipes. There's an opening at the bottom, and there's an opening at the bottom. Inside, there are several twists and turns. You put a ball in, and it could end up in one of 17 different entrances. Divination is rarely so simple.
There are no easy answers. There are lots of terminuses to where we're going. The only saving grace, I suppose, is that while every future I can see is bleak, I have to trust that there are futures I can't see because of who we are. And that's probably why my namesake failed. And that would be correct. That is why I was wrong. Some of us saw what was coming and some of us didn't. Or those of us who did see it believed that things would be different, that there were other possibilities, that there were other timelines that were going to take precedent over the one that did. And I was wrong. I was the most vocal proponent of the idea that the war would continue to protract itself because the land, the technology, the things that were here were so brilliant
and I misjudged the greed of mortals. I have long outgrown such feeble-minded concerns. My immortality self-evident. And the Empress of the Drow, she was greedy. She wanted to win, and she did.
And now she wants more.
Oh, she's always wanted more. That's not any different than it's ever been.
Now she's going to act on those wants, even with more gusto.
And no matter what course of action we take, I recognize that there's not much agreement as far as what that course of action may be. It is our responsibility to take action back.
We're still going to have to deal with extraplanar threats.
Whether it's demons knocking on our door in the Underdark or what have you.
We are in agreement about one thing. We are the only ones who can do something about this.
We are the shields that guard the plains of man.
You are our last hope.
So, I say we take a bit of time to think this over. Ease the dissent in our minds. And try to approach this with a clear head.
You got a big old button. You can turn the field off and it'll let the demons out. I mean, that's kind of how it works.
We're not doing that without unanimous approval.
Take some time and think it over.
So, like, things were really this bad? Like, what? We were just gonna blow it all up and leave? Like, that's... No more nothing? No more planes? No more planes in the fields of Geller? No more kingdom? No more dwarf? Like...
No?
No
All
more
of this
snow?
like it.
Like, we just...
It'll all be gone and turn nothing but ash or be dissolved into the void.
She's right.
Look, I'm sorry that you're this fucking depressing, right? But
No.
like, I lived my entire life fighting my ass off so that I can see the morning sun every day.
Shuko, it really is. The shadow that hangs over our world, it really is that catastrophically
No,
destructive.
like, you guys, I'm ashamed to say this, like, and how far you have fallen that this was even remotely on the table. Like, you didn't just turn to your friends and say, fuck no, we're not releasing demons. You were like, we're probably not releasing demons.
Do you
like,
honestly think I want this?
I don't care. Where are your principles? You and I were brothers at one point. Like, this is nuts. This is completely out of it. There is no way that any threat that you are talking about fighting was any more catastrophic than the war that our goddess fought to defend the world literally from demons. And now we're talking about, well, maybe we'll use demons as a weapon against some other ludicrously, impossibly powerful threat. There is nothing, not a single God's damn thing in this entire fucking world or beyond, or any existence and beyond it, that is stronger than the gods. And the assertion that any of you are remotely close to divinity is the most bullshit thing I've ever heard in my entire fucking life.
Well, I don't see any of your gods doing anything about Azathoth.
I am my God's will made manifest.
The only one that I see here that has made any efforts at all against actually solving this problem is standing right here.
He points down.
No, I think she is pointing at Castor.
Who would she point at if she was pointing down?
Galahad.
But she's pointing
Oh,
at Castor.
little-
But
little
she's
Galahad.
pointing at
Galahad.
Castor. She's pointing at
Just
Castor.
fucking right here.
You can say all you want about principles, but he's twice the safe follower you are.
Oh,
In what
enough.
way?
You haven't seen the things we have, Jugo.
That's just the
They
simple truth.
can't be that bad.
I appreciate your optimism, but it is that
Cassandra.
I fight. I can't stress this enough.
Shuko, we're not doing this.
Castor walks up and he puts
You
his hand
don't
on.
know that.
Juko. It is that bad.
I just don't believe that.
That's because
You're asking for me to have a lot more faith than I got
That's ironic.
in you.
Your naivete is exhausting and repetitive.
Can you...
No, it's not the time. Anyway.
Can we...
You want to call it Aeva Day? Then fine. Alright? Solve your own fucking problems. Figure it out yourself. Fuck this.
No, I would...
No, that is the attitude that will destroy all of
Sonra.
us. It's true! Don't tell me it's not! You need an iron will to get through this. Even if it means Cassandra! Shut your face!
Can the both of you calm... And that's it. And Cora snaps her fingers and casts silence on everyone.
Guess we're quiet now. Chuko signs. Guess we're quiet now.
You just see Cat go.
Drolish is just in there, just...
Cap twirls the portion of his mustache he still has.
There's no shing now, there's just...
And like Cora writes in the air and with her finger burning, using prestidigitation. As I live, I will not let us, we're not going to make this choice. Genocide is not our choice to make.
The sword of Cause speaks to you. Literally is.
Cass writes in a notebook. Then whose is it?
Genocide is not a solution.
Can I say something?
It is.
She signs in the air. Can I say something?
I'm glad we all know sign language. This is convenient.
I'm just writing in Elvish.
No,
Not
I
Elvish,
wasn't
just
thinking sign
She's
language.
using
I'm thinking-
magic to write letters.
Yeah, I'm thinking her just kind of at first she's like,
Drolis goes,
that's not working. And then she writes inside a blank page in her journal. I have spent several years towards the end of my life now to try and redeem everything that I've done. I've committed genocide on my own people and those who allied with my now ex-husband. And I'm telling you right now, there's nothing more heavy that weighs in your heart than being the one responsible for so many unnecessary and very expedient deaths of men, women, and children.
As Sir Galahad writes in the air using prestidigitation, we didn't have time to care about that.
You d- and I sa- and
I did.
and Cora says too. We do.
Caster takes a page from somebody's journal. He offers out his hand for somebody to hand him a piece of paper.
Give me that. I'm gonna write.
God, why don't we all know prestidigitation? Fuck, man.
Because not everyone's magic.
Why don't we all know prestidigitation? Fuck, man.
I wish we knew prestidigitation. That would be the most useful spell.
The most convenient spell ever, for sure.
If you were to learn only one spell, it should be that one, because you don't need a washer and dryer anymore.
You don't need anything anymore.
Food always tastes
Half
good.
of the appliances in your house are gone.
You could just pick up a piece of dirt and it'll taste like a funnel cake.
No, because you'd still need nutrition. So what you do is you get like potatoes and tofu and no, you know what? You just always eat good shit for you and then make it taste like whatever you want it to. Oh yeah, this is like super bacon. It's
Nothing but
just-
Soylent bars.
It's super bacon.
Nothing but fucking Soylent bars, but it tastes like a chocolate sundae.
That would be the best thing in the world. Anyway, back on track.
Anyway, back on track.
Back on topic.
Back on topic.
Caster takes the page and writes out and presents it to everyone. If we fail, they die anyway.
And if we that's a good point. Shit. If we fail, they die. If we win, they die. There is no situation where they don't die.
I love horrible decision making where no answer is the right answer.
Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons.
Welcome to Dungeons and
We're gonna
Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons.
I'm
We're
sorry.
sad all of the time.
I'm sorry, out of character. Who is the they in this situation?
Yes.
Everyone, really.
Everyone.
I thought we were specifically talking about the drow because we were using the demons against
Now we're
them.
talking about everyone.
Now we're just kind of talking about...
I mean, the
living
demons would
things.
wipe out anyone. That was Sir Galahad's initial plan, that the demons would just obliterate everything and then be a wall against the shadow, while everyone else fucked off in rockets that wouldn't work.
Galahad also points out, like, they were more to buy time. It's just the inevitability that they would destroy Rivera. They were to buy the Chronomancers more time to find a solution for destroying Azathoth, because they didn't have one, and they still don't. They couldn't win the war on their own.
Reese, I'm sorry, just Reese has his head down. It's like, fuck, man, this is heavy.
Fuck,
I'm
dude.
just chilling, don't worry.
Everything's totally cool in Reese land.
I'm just bowling.
Booling!
I'm just
Booling.
I think why Alabama is the way it is.
But anyway, Cora, she makes a. Oh, I actually don't have my illusion. Wait, no, I have it as a cantrip, I think. She casts minor illusion and creates a floating hourglass that lasts for. She uses her extend rod on it so that it lasts a day. And she says, and she writes in the air, the silence field is only a 10-foot radius. I'm going elsewhere. I need to think. But my long-standing answer, my standing answer is a big no.
Cass.
And she,
Let's just say we walk out of the field.
Yeah,
and
that's what I was thinking.
and with that she what?
I am privy to the DM's secrets.
All none of them.
Yeah, so we've walked out now.
Yeah.
Cass.
And she and go on, actually. Your thing first.
Oh, okay. You did mention that we do have potential allies with the elves.
That's not even the right game
With the
system
what?
for the
Elves.
stat block. Like,
I made a promise that I'll take
You know
the
that's
war to the
diet,
drow.
right?
Since you're doing that, depending on their numbers, I know they're not as endless as the demons.
Of course not.
We can enlist their
Far
help.
more limited.
And we
Small
can
waveform.
see. This may be a stretch. Might be a huge stretch. Considering, me. I may still have allies within the desert. Give me time.
you're making the cable.
I'll see what I can do.
Sorry.
And it may not be as immediate as this portal.
Of course not. Nothing.
Because we could just go right here, right
Oh, no.
now, swing our dicks around and show them
There we go.
who wields the power.
How many dicks do we actually have to swing around?
Cass
It's
looks
just
down,
Caster.
just like,
It's just Caster. Caster's the only dick.
George has her axe.
That's not a dick.
Joelish has a dick.
anything's a dildo if you're
George.
brave enough.
Surprise, George is trans, you never knew.
Joelish has a dick.
Drolish has dick energy, and it is immense.
It's like,
the biggest size
it's like the-
classification in D&D?
Huh?
What's the biggest size classification in D&D?
Colossal.
She has colossal dick energy.
like it's like a double-decker dick.
She has the kind of dick energy that could
Cock slap an elder god.
Jesus Christ.
Rather literally.
Jesus
Alright.
Christ.
Well,
Moving from this train wreck.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Moving from this
I
train wreck.
believe I may still have allies within the desert. Now with that temple gone and dispatched, they don't have anything to fear anymore, do they?
I mean, they have to fear Varnolf. They sent him into that hell. I mean, he doesn't have the hell anymore, but
If he's still there.
Barden.
I know.
yeah. Are you saying we?
This may
usurp the
seem
man?
biased.
You saying we kill him? And take his
Yeah,
place?
absolutely. It may seem biased from my perspective.
I understand.
I mean,
Although
still...
it would be best if you guys didn't do it, weren't at least seen, because I believe he still has allies with the humans and with the human kingdoms.
Yeah, that was his whole thing.
That's not that many people. Like, what, a few thousand? Great, good job. How many other allies you got? I mean, we're talking...
Them, the elves, and I know it's not as immediate as the portal right in the other room.
Right, but that's a few 100,000 people with the most, like, liberal estimate.
Yeah.
The drow just outnumber you. And that doesn't account for how they outskill you. And just have better material.
Didn't you say you were leaving?
I was gonna stay behind to talk to Shuko.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
But and any snake has a head.
So what? You just pave the way with corpses until you end up at the Empress's throne and kill her and suddenly it's over?
More or less.
You really think that that's how this is gonna shake out?
I think that without the guiding, literally divine hand of the Empress, that like a den of wolves, the drow will...
I just want to point out, the Empress ain't no god. Like, you can believe whatever stupid shit you want to believe, she ain't.
Who's saying that? Is that Shuko?
Yeah.
In any case, like a hungry den of wolves, trapped in a cave, they will. The drow houses who have been playing at each other's throats for thousands of years, they will eat each other.
I don't know that we can rely on that.
Yeah, that's a little...
I mean,
You're gonna
civil
need-
war would be inevitable.
You're gonna need more substantive help.
Because if there's one grayskin that has enough power, strength, connections, they could just replace. And then what
nothing as
happens?
big as the Empress, though. Like, that's out of character. At least she's built up to be like almost divine ass bitch.
She's lived for
Divine
thousands.
ass bitch.
Divine as a bitch.
She's lived for thousands of years and is by all accounts immortal, and her birth was, and I know my own history on this is incredibly biased, so I don't know how much I can trust it. Is her birth was foretold and seen as...
Wasn't she one of two mothers? Isn't that her title?
Yes. Was seen as a miracle.
Wrong button. There it goes. Cass grabs a stool and sits down. I don't want to tear apart any other families. I've lost my own family that way. Not through war, but through just the sheer loss of just the fact that I lost them. But if we don't do that, there would be no families left to be had.
There's a better way. I don't
doubt it.
I don't know what it is yet, but there has to be a better way.
I don't doubt that there's a better way. But how long do we have? Is the question.
No.
So Azathoth shows up. Apparently we have long enough so that we're gonna load everybody onto these ships.
There's only one and it's a prototype. I'd have to spend years figuring that stuff out.
I mean, we had all the most brilliant engineers in the world working on this at one point, and it's still not done. I mean, it'll probably work, but not indefinitely, and even then, like, so what?
Even then, it was still only a time buyer.
And it didn't really buy us time. I mean, even if we found somewhere else to land, like, we needed thousands of these, and they would have given us maybe a few hundred years, and that's stretching it. That's assuming only the longer lived races would have been the ones to survive. kobolds, dragonborn, humans, halflings, basically anybody who lives less than 200 years would have all been extinct. The only people we would have spared are the elves and the elemental races and dwarves and a few others. Everyone else be gone.
Not to mention, only 1,000 or so people. That's
Well,
the entire...
the plan is that if you had multiples of them and one eventually found a home, the rest would come along, and then you would have a diverse enough gene pool to survive.
I'm not even talking about gene pools. I'm talking entire histories, people's ways of life.
Gone.
All would vanish.
I mean, so what? We live. Is it
at that point you have to set aside all the histories.
Is it worth clutching our pearls and our books and holding on to all the things that we believe matter when in the face of inevitable destruction and the forces of entropy we're left with no other options? Like, if you're freezing to death, you're going to toss your personal history in the fireplace if it means it'll give you 5 more minutes of life-saving heat.
I was not saying that we should do something like that. I was just pointing it out. And,
I also want to point out that I think that that's trash. Like, why would we not... Like, what's the point in living if it's just for the sake of living?
You can find your own way. Find your own way through life. That's what I've done.
Right. So you find your own way, and your own way takes you where? Like, you see... Does nothing matter to you? Like...
I never said nothing matters to me. I said you find your own way and you make your own purpose.
I've had my own purpose my entire life. Like, and now I'm told that, like, my religion and everything else and all of my ethics and the things that I have grown up that matter to me, that I have discovered matter to me, shouldn't matter anymore because the question of survival is brought into view. Like, because that's the suggestion here. That, like, there is a cross-section at which being principled ceases to be pragmatic.
I need time. Can you all promise me you're not going to kill each other or leave within the next 10 minutes?
You kidding? I wouldn't kill any of you.
Actually,
Debatable.
20.
If any of you die, it wouldn't be by my hand.
Don't worry,
I wouldn't allow this family to be broken apart.
I'm pretty neutral in this. If any fights break out, I'll take care of it.
Chuko?
One punch.
One punch! Someone had to make a joke. Come on, you can...
Chuko, you're, I understand your frustration.
Cass raises her guns.
I would rather you stay here. Your voice and this, you know the full picture now.
No, I don't.
Well,
and even if I did.
You are privy to the information, so I would say your voice means as much as ours.
I agree.
I'm sticking around for now.
Thank you.
Understandable.
Now, I'm going to go into the library and find a little corner. And she does leave the room. And I am taking 10 minutes to prep one of the open spell slots that I left open to prep sending.
Also,
okay.
While you're... I'm sorry.
I do have a quick question, Amy. In this room, is there are there tables?
There are workbenches, but they're just covered in like wrenches and tools and calipers, magnifying glasses, that kind of thing.
You just shove it off. Not the first time you've done something like that.
True. Instead of shoving it all off. Well, actually, no. Knowing her, she would just kind of pull up a chair, slide it off.
Yeah,
And she just kind of.
Well, it was all gonna be destroyed anyway.
She takes her axe and swings it at the table so it sticks like that, and she pulls up another chair for her feet, and she's just, all right.
Why are you so fucking weird?
That's the company you're in.
I am-
Weird
We're going to be here for some time, it sounds like, so
I am
might as
so-
well get comfortable.
I am so glad I'm dead.
Galahad. This gateway you've described that leads to the Proto-Abyss.
Yeah.
Is it one way?
It's not one way. You can go through and come out. I mean,
that's probably how you'd have to win the favor of the demons anyway. You have to go in, beat the big beastie that controls all of them.
And it's not an experimental portal, is it? It's been verifiably proven to work.
it works. You
Or
can
not.
go both ways.
And she turns to a page in her journal
That's what the suits were for.
and is looking at that.
You're gonna need one of those, but you'll need it to breathe and everything else. But
Speaking of the power source, there's strange potions. Do you have any of those around here?
yeah, I've got them somewhere. I can find them.
As many as you can find, please. Take me with you. What does this shoot powered by too? Is it powered by the same fluid or is it?
It's autonomous. It's completely self-contained. It's a very powerful set of magnets in its core that generate an amount of perpetual motion that continue to power the whole thing.
So it's just perpetual.
It
Power.
draws energy from a demi-plane in which there is no law for friction.
Ah, so it's just completely.
Yep.
Perfect.
I need to see it.
See what?
The portal.
I can't open that door unless we're gonna like do something with it, like immediately.
I feel like if we open the door, they come out.
Yeah, I mean when the door is open, we're getting demons. Like that's what's happening. We're getting demons immediately. We're getting demons 10 minutes from now. We're getting demons 6 hours. There's demons, like lots of them. You're welcome to walk through, like wade through their corpses. I'm sure they'd find that's interesting. But I can't open the door yet.
It did yield information about Asmodeus, whatever his name is.
Amadeus.
Why are we all so
Amadeus,
fucking
Amadeus.
stupid?
It might yield in more information.
Jesus fucking Christ.
That was the LCD section of the Drunken Pansy.
Oh god. No, we're not mixing the universes like this.
No.
You mean the drunken pansy?
Okay.
Anyway, fucking
It is
dumbasses.
12:22.
Where the fuck am I fucking
We got
guys?
8 minutes.
Closing remarks that anyone wants to make?
There,
We got 8 minutes.
Yeah, that's closing.
Cass wants to like. I know we'd have to
I have
catalog
to
it, but would it still work if she like thought of a specific name? And this person, Kaelin Zistrith or whatever the fuck her name is.
Kaelin Zistrith is the name of the gunsmith who
Yes,
made the.
and then Amelin Adrixia. And when she reaches in, does she find any hold books?
No.
Damn.
You need a specific item.
Damn it. That's gonna be a lot of cataloging.
I shall sort through them, madam.
Well, while Cora takes her time to think, I was gonna flip open the. There was one in particular. What did you say the title of the tome was that she got off the
History
Bookshelf.
of Fire.
like slow burn or something?
The
Controlled burn.
Controlled burn, yeah. She's gonna start flipping through that, looking for things while Cora takes her time, because her mind is already made up.
It opens with an anecdote about how one of the best ways to stop spreading brush fires is to start a fire that prevents it from getting any more fuel, one that is smaller and easier to control. And then how you douse that flame, and then once the path of the flame pushes forward, it eventually runs into a patch where there's no more fuel to keep it burning and it just fizzles out. It's a lot easier than fighting fire with tons of water, and it's easier to get the bucket brigade going on a smaller, more controlled flame.
Can I see who this was authored by? Is it on the book anywhere?
It's not a name you recognize, but it's definitely something that's important.
Can I have it? Could I have it?
I will give it to you later.
Okay, that's fine with me.
Does DM
Go
speak
for
for I need to I need to look up something.
It's in my notes, but I don't feel like
just flipping through them. In the books that she hasn't gotten, zooms in, looks at all the stuff. Is there anything relating to gunsmithing? Anything that's like
there are books on engineering and gunsmithing
what I
in the
intended.
pot.
yeah, that
I don't know what I
takes
was
that stuff
expecting,
out,
really.
flips through them. Anything relating to them? And that?
There's like a
There are
dead bug in it.
brief mentions of like a few legendary gunsmiths, and their names do come up.
Not all the other books that she hasn't got, like she hasn't looked, shoved in the fucking bag. She just does a quick scan of all of them and do the names pop out. Kaylin or whatever. I gotta remember her name.
One of them has a whole chapter. One of them has a whole chapter on Adrixia.
Read. Whenever you get the information for that.
There are sub-portions in that chapter of like specific firearms.
Like the designs or just like what they are? Just
like just legendary guns crafted by this lady.
Cool gun. Epic rarity.
What are their names?
That's not important right now. We got
That's
4 minutes to get
fine.
to other people.
Yeah, that's fine. That's not bad. Whenever you get the chance.
What does anyone else have to say?
Drolish does have a thing to speak to everyone about.
Yeah, all right, big lady.
Cora, get in here.
I mean, she's in the room.
Busy.
I mean, if you have to speak to everyone, I think you should do yours last.
All right. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be everyone per se.
Also, you could not shout to Cora from where you are. That's like hundreds of feet away.
Oh, hundreds of feet. Okay,
it's like
never
a
mind.
football field size area.
Yeah, she was in a different room in like the opposite corner, basically.
Now, since all of you are my allies, I would like to get a thing off my chest also that's been weighing on my mind.
Wouldn't have been weighing on your chest if it was on your chest?
Getting things off our chests.
Whatever.
Oh boy.
I told you about it already.
Oh yeah.
I would like you guys to know, in case I can't do it. You know the Drow forces that are encroaching on us. The small force that's advancing.
Yes, the expeditionary
force.
The ones in the scar.
Yes. Well, I personally know the general that's leading that force.
Oh.
Varnolf didn't get all of them.
Varnolf didn't get all of them.
Oh.
She's my daughter. My last final one. And if there's no possible way for us to talk her out of where she is, and if I can't kill her, I want you to.
Family ties.
Cass looks up and just
To the daughter that I actually love.
looks up teary-eyed and just kind of like, that's what the gun's for.
Thank you. She's the last of what makes me me. Besides,
Awesome.
us.
Yeah.
When she's gone, all I have left tying me to this place, it will be you guys and our mission.
How heartwarming.
No, it's not. It's very depressing.
That
sounds like some shit.
It was sarcasm. I am not oblivious to the fact that it is highly depressing.
Yeah, so I wanted to let you guys know. So there are no secrets, and if I can't do it, I want you guys to be able to handle it.
As blasted depressing as it is, I suppose it's good you have at least one living family member you're still close to, even if not really close anymore.
Oh
but
no,
you care for.
Oh no, we are very close.
At least you were before things got complicated.
I'm just worried now. She is the one child that I have been proud of.
That's pretty rough.
Hard not to be proud of her, right? I mean, she's like a whole general and everything.
She's a whole ass general.
She is a half-orc that clawed her way through Drow society to get where she is. That is admirable.
I'm saying, like, I agree with you. Like, that's impressive. I'm just saying, like, she is literally the enemy.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to let you guys know.
You've been quiet, Caster.
Anything?
Brian?
Tattoo, are you awake?
Yeah, he's definitely
Okay,
awake.
just wanted to make sure.
We sealed the vault.
I agree.
What does Cora cast, or what does Cora use sending for?
She comes back 15 minutes later, and she looks awful. Her eyes are bloodshot. Rather, her eye is bloodshot, and it's obvious she's cried. Since when she gets back, and then she walks back into the room and says, "I'm going to cast sending to get the one piece of information that none of us have at the moment. So don't bother me for 10 minutes." Alright, and I'm casting sending for Garrett. I'm asking this.
The very bottom?
Very bottom. All of my sending logs are
Holy shit, this is hard to read. Give me a lantern.
Holy shit, dude.
Holy shit.
While you're deciphering the runes.
Oh, also, yeah.
Runes?
Oh, yeah, Ty. She really didn't like any of our other kids except for one, kind of.
Got him.
Cass goes over to Cass.
Cass to Cass.
Kiss.
And places a hand
I need
on
a pencil.
his shoulder and says,
Pencil!
"I'm sorry. Desperate times call for desperate measures, my friend." And it got heated.
Well, according to Cora, she's going to get information that we don't have.
Caster looks up at Cassandra. Well, he looks at her hand, and he looks up at her. And there is something new on his face.
Is it rage?
A tear.
Oh.
Just like Drolish, he's never cried.
Not in the presence of the party, at any rate.
Oh, fair.
I know when I'm beaten, a vote is a vote. But for the record, I want you all to know that I think this is a bad idea.
Oh, yeah. So,
It's a bad idea.
I want to point out, you guys have tried to send messages to Garrett before.
I tried to pray to him.
Each time it has failed. But things are different now. There's a very faint presence that you are able to detect. It is in an adjacent demiplane attached to this one. He probably hides in any number of a multitude of these to keep himself masked from the enemy. He does respond to you in a timely manner.
Also, like, now of all things, like, Drolish looks over. So who's Dana?
I'm actually surprised you remember.
I remember exactly.
Casting
Oh!
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot you guys had made that a whole fucking thing.
Caster and Dana sitting in a...
Wait, who's Dana?
Dana was the name that he said when he woke up when we were on our way to the sunken citadel.
And we were on the tree.
And we're
Oh,
making,
yeah. That was
we're
what it's
making
called, right?
fun
The Sunken
of
Citadel?
fucking
Sunless
Jules was a
Citadel.
mega meathead. Sunken.
Was it sunken or sunless?
It doesn't
Sunken.
matter.
It was sunken
Okay.
because it was sunken into the ground.
Anyways,
Sinking.
Cora,
Sink.
you got a minute
It
to
was
make
synced.
whatever closing remarks
Yeah.
you're going to make.
Cora just...
Poland.
Do you all trust Garrett's opinion?
For the most part.
What choice have we?
We've said it, I think we said this much before. Garrett believes that releasing the demons would do nothing.
Oh.
Well, I guess that's reassuring in our decision.
And something else. apparently we're his alternative.
Glad to know he put so much faith in us.
Well, I mean, I kind of gathered that.
My colleague had to. What choice did we have?
Fair enough.
There must be something about us if he puts so much faith inside of us.
As I said, I know when I'm beat.
Are you aware of how many times Garrett has failed?
He has expressly told that to us.
Look, like, we worked together for years, right? Like, I know this guy. I just...
And
Gal had
we
started
know
getting
how many
Boston
times,
accent.
maybe not this exact number
It's
now,
really
but he has
okay.
expressly told us that he has failed over and
He
over
doesn't
and
know
over and
fantasy
over
Boston.
and over again. And we are just another bit of heroes that he's trying to use.
Well...
And if he picks a certain bit of heroes, there's got to be something. I can't imagine he picks them arbitrarily.
Heroes.
You.
All I have to say is... good luck.
Yeah.
I make my own.
And that's where we're gonna